You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra $1, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to special Thursday night programming here on KLRN Radio. I'm Rick Robinson, programming director on these parts, and we preempted most of the programming for this. Well, actually, all the programming for this evening, because there's a weird debate that's about to happen. Something I am a history buff, and somebody can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't ever remember this happening before. We have 2 sitting governors, one of which is running for president, and the other one is clandestinely running for president. Let's just put that out there now. That are about to be debating each other on the Sean Hannity show in about 52 minutes. I got nothing. I just feel like that everybody knows that we're so desperate for any other choices than the 2 that are basically being presented to us that they're like, here, check out these 2. What do you think?
I just don't get why Gavin Newsom feels compelled to have a debate with a presidential candidate when he has not declared himself to be one.
Well, he doesn't I mean, he's got so many of the media pulling for him, he doesn't even need to declare. They're like, let's run this guy instead. He's young, he's hip,
But
he's cool.
this should wake up people over on the left to what's going on, especially the Biden devotees. The ones that think Biden is their savior.
Dude, I still don't even know how these people haven't figured out that we literally have like the most prominent crime family in the country in the White House right now.
I think they are figuring it out.
You know how I know that at least certain people know that we have a very prominent crime family in the White House? Right now, the Chiron on Fox News, former mobster analyzes the Bidens.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on is the Democrats are shaking right now. NBC just had a poll that came out to prove any other poll is not an outlier. Joe Biden's in trouble. Mm-hmm. It's the first time their poll showed Trump in the lead. But if you look at a breakdown of the numbers, it's just horrendous. With independents, it's 2-1 disapproval. With young voters, more of them are voting for Trump right now than the overall election. 20% of Democrats are unfavorable to Biden. I mean, no matter how you cut it, he's got bad figures. This is shaking everybody. The Democrats, the media, they're all scared right now. So they're all paying attention tonight to see if Gavin Newsom can establish himself in any capacity so they could run to him for a rescue.
The thing that I don't understand is, let's say Gavin Newsom, which against Ron DeSantis, I don't really see it happening, but let's just say that Governor Hairgel knocks it out of the park tonight. We are less than 11 months from the election right now. He's not even going to have time to get on all the ballots.
Well, yeah, true. But
what makes you think the ballots are going to count?
Well,
Does it really matter at this point?
Well, that was the other thing I was about to bring up when Brad was talking about the polls. I was like, it doesn't matter, because if they run Biden, the ballot fairy is going to fix it, just like he did in 2020. Because, yeah, dude, this is now the second election cycle where I've seen things that I've never seen before. Because last election cycle, last major presidential election cycle, we watched districts say, hey, we're not counting anymore because we have issues. We're going to pick up again in the morning. And then by morning, the ballot fairy showed up in all the right places.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, yeah, there's no cheating. Really? I mean, come on, dude.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is the party where the rules don't apply to them. So why would any other voting standard be a problem for them? If anything, they'll probably find a way to have Kamala get pushed aside, move in Newsom, and then have Joe Biden step down after a couple months, and there you go. Problem solved.
I mean, that may actually be a more valid plan. I don't know. Personally, I am tired of us putting people in offices that shouldn't be buying green bananas. I mean,
well, that's just you making sense, Rick, and there's no place for that in politics.
I mean, look, I get it. Once people have power, they want to hold on to it for as long as they can, reap all the benefits from it that they can, and all that. But, I mean, come on, dude. After you've made $50, $60, $70 million, do you really need to just stay there forever? I mean, come on. I mean, dude, if I could figure out a way to make $1 million, I've figured out like 15 different ways I could levy that into like $60, $70 million within about 10, 15 years. So the fact that these people are just living in D.C. and sponging off of everybody and doing their own versions of insider trading, etc., are just insane to me. There's like my generation, almost nobody was able to get into office because the people that should have retired like 30 years ago are still there. Now, all of a sudden, Gen Z and the millennials are like, it's our turn. I'm like, really? No. Just because everybody forgot about us doesn't mean we're not here. I'm just saying.
Very true.
God, why is the Epstein story still going on? Can we just release the dude's flight logs already and stuff and just get it over with? I mean, come on. Just put the... sorry, I'm looking at the Chiron again on Fox News. And apparently Waters is currently talking about their cover-up of the Epstein flight logs that's apparently going on with the Democrats. Which tells you...
they're blocking the release of the Epstein log.
Which tells you who most of the people that are going to be on those things are affiliated with. Otherwise, they'd be like, "Oh, turn them loose. We'll destroy the Republicans forever." But yeah, we're supposed to be the hated deviants and everything else. Whatever, dude. I don't know.
Well, no, that's always the best way to shut somebody up, because every once in a while you'll see somebody post like a picture of Elon Musk with Ghislaine Maxwell or Donald Trump next to Epstein himself. And they're like, "See, this is you people." It's like, well, why don't you prove it and release the logbook? And then the subject will get changed faster than a remote control on the TV. Put the logbook out there. "Oh, you people and your damn taxes." You know, and run away.
Or they say, "I can't argue with you. You know, you're too dumb," and block you immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They do that a lot.
I get that with my candy corn takes.
Hey, Andrew joined us. Yay.
I would never block you for that.
Well, I mean, I won't block you for your candy corn takes, but I will mock you relentlessly.
Well, I expect that no matter what.
I just think putting it on pizza is crossing the crucible, though.
But is it really?
Even I wouldn't do that.
Is it really, though?
Yes, it is
pizza?
really. Yes, it is.
A dessert pizza here. We're talking brown sugar-based crust that you can use like an apple fritter type crust. You don't cook them. You sprinkle them after it's cooked, like a garnish.
Who hurt you, Andrew?
I don't know, but now I want an apple fritter.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, damn it, I even got stuff for dessert later, and I did not get apple fritters, and now I'm mad.
I have moon pies.
Got RC Cola?
Yes.
Okay. Now, that's the only way to have moon pie. Now, the big problem with the Epstein flight list is the same reason why they don't investigate voting fraud. It shows both sides, the people that are in charge or in the swamp or whatever they want to call it. And God forbid you expose the shenanigans on both sides, you're going to realize that they all suck.
This is true.
And the best of all is that would indict all the people that claim they're in favor of transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you really want to know who's not in favor of transparency, look and listen for the people yelling for it the loudest, because they don't actually mean it. I think my favorite thing of all time, at least in recent memory, was Elon Musk going nuclear the other day when he was like, "Hey,
that was glorious.
You don't want to advertise on X? Fuck you. I'm good with that. But you're not going to hold money hostage over my head. So if that's what you think you're going to do, you can just fuck off."
Yeah, but based on the money that Disney's been losing this year, they're probably happy not advertising right now.
This is true.
I bet. That it has warmed the cockles of my heart, let's just say.
And I'm sorry, I have to do this again now. Mom, can you see if Kathleen Kennedy's under my bed?
Now, I was just looking at two articles this weekend where they were commenting, like after the new movie Wish has also bombed, second year in a row they've had an animated movie not open on Thanksgiving well. They said it's the first year Disney will not have a $1 billion movie in theaters. But then I flashed to this summer where they said they had already lost $900 million. That was before the Marvels and Wish had tanked. So they're going to lose $1 billion at the theater this year. That's how bad it's gotten.
And I don't know if anybody else.
What they were losing at the parks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know.
Did you notice how they switched the way they were advertising the movie Wish? Because I've seen several different adverts for it, trailers on TV. And at first it was like really peppy and everything. Then they went to the old 90s style when they were doing Beauty and the Beast, and when they were doing Aladdin, and when they were doing the re-release of Pinocchio and how it was advertised, they went to that style. It did not help. It just did not help.
Yeah, that's a sign that the marketing is not working.
Mm-hmm. It would had they not doubled down on the wokeness, I think it would have worked, but it's too far gone.
Oh, but was it your article, Brad? Or it was something I was reading to where it didn't even sound like it was a woke story. It just sounded like.
Oh, it's not.
It wasn't. They didn't really push the wokeness on this one, but I think the biggest problem is that this really seemed more like a product because they were tying it in completely to the 100-year anniversary and the Wish Upon a Star and all of that.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
it really sounded like they had kind of come up with a formula as opposed to an original story. So that kind of nobody could tell you what the movie was about. Even if you look at the synopsis, you're like, wait, so she's wishing because some guy grants wishes and won't, and what?
Well,
there was nothing to see.
The audience is gun shy.
Oh, very.
I mean, how many movies has Disney put out now and we're preached at? I'm not entertained. I'm preached.
Yeah, but that's a Disney problem because look at Super Mario Brothers. That thing made $1 billion plus worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was. I don't know. I think it's Kennedy again, as South Park did, as somebody showed.
Well, I'm looking into it right now, probably for a piece tomorrow, but it looks like Bob Iger has already got his eye on the exit door.
You knew he wasn't lasting long.
He's made his money. He would get a really good buyout. I will say this about this. They already kicked him out once. Yeah, their buyouts are fantastic. Just ask Jeffrey Katzenberg. His buyout was $100 million.
Now the question
and he didn't have that long to go on his contract.
Now the
I didn't know he was a coach for Texas A&M.
Nice.
We would have done better with Katzenberg.
Texas A&M appears to be following the Disney business model.
Oh, don't even get me started. I am so pissed off at my alma mater right now. And I'm not talking about the football. I'm talking about them keeping that predator on their payroll. And it's pissing me off no end. Yeah, you think that I'm the only one that's pissed off? I've already gotten emails from people in the Association of Former Students that want to, start a campaign to get this guy out. This is unacceptable. Yeah, this guy gets caught with child pornography, and because it didn't happen at the school, A&M is keeping him on. And I'm like, that's not the way it works. I'm like, why is he not in jail? That's my first question. And my second question is like, what are you thinking keeping him on the payroll? So yeah, there are things we're not happy. I am very much unhappy with my alma mater right now.
So he keeps his job, but people get fired over something they post on social media.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the DEI is extremely deeply rooted at A&M, and they're actually making progress in getting rid of it, but it's not fast enough. I mean, you just can't undo all the damage.
I was going to say, I thought they were taking that down.
Well, the DEI is gone, but the teachers are still there. The professors are still there. The actors are still there. The TAs are still there. You can't get rid of all of those. So, you're kind of screwed. You have to wait. And I hate waiting when it comes to shit like this. And Brad knows me. I'm the most patient person on the planet, but this drives me nuts. I am not going to wait for this. This guy has got to go.
I think Brad might be lying for you. Cause, yeah. We've met.
It depends on the subject matter. She can get impetuous at times.
I guess I can get mad.
Like when I'm making mojitos.
Oh, yeah, I get super impatient.
Are they ready yet? It's like, I'm still crushing mint. Get up. Hurry up, white man. Come on, let's go.
Jen thought it was funny that I was like right there at your elbow going, hurry up. She's like going as fast as I can. I was like, not fast enough.
You can't rush art.
This is true.
Oh. I mean, at least she was nice and said, hurry up, white man. She could have said worse.
I had my translator on the phone when she was barking at me, so it came through. And it was like...
Oh,
Rapido Flaco, what the hell is this?
El Flaco, I would never call you that. There is no fucking way.
At least not in front of you.
Fair.
Oh, man.
So these guys are getting together at 9 p.m.?
Yep, here in a little over 30 minutes.
Hey. I over-prepared.
You over-prepared?
I don't know.
How do you
I have a beer.
Started drinking at 7:30.
Can one start drinking too early, though?
No.
What's this word, start?
No. The problem is if you don't finish in a timely fashion.
Well,
finish.
The key is...
You mean it's closing time.
The key is you just never stop. Then you don't have to worry about starting.
Apparently, Andrew has an IV, so he's all set.
Usually my
That's what the flask is for.
Usually my coffee's how I get IV. Or, yeah, IV's how I get my coffee most days.
There you go.
I'll get it right.
There you go, Brad. Mike's got a question for you in chat.
Uh-oh.
Ooh,
no. I was told
no.
I was told there would be no math.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
math.
Why not just use scope?
It's just not the same. You really need to have the mint leaves. It's not that I'm a purist. I've done it both ways, and no. The mint extract has too much alcohol, and it's very, very artificial tasting. I don't even know why that stuff exists, honestly.
You've made mojitos with scope?
No, with the mint extract. I was desperate, okay? And I was at my sister's, and that's all she had.
Well, all I'm thinking is...
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I've actually used mint extract in a mojito.
I'm thinking I'm going to get some
enough
scope.
Hail Marys to cover this.
What do you think, Brad? Scope or Listerine for the mint?
I mean, you could make a Lavoris daiquiri.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to be nasty.
I'm just thinking it's a redneck mojito.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's not like mint is expensive. The crap is a weed, really.
Well, Mike has never had a mojito, which means we must travel to Delaware. Excuse me,
Can't
Maryland.
go to Delaware.
Maryland.
Real.
Delaware's not real. Maryland.
Eastern Maryland, remember?
That's right. And make him one. That's one of my on the list of things to do before I die. Make Mike a mojito.
Well, I think we should do a meetup, KLRN meetup next year. Election result meetup.
I know a place in Texas.
Depending on how the elections go, we might be meeting in an island.
Aggie has an acreage.
I was going to say Aggie's only like 4 or 5 hours from me, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, we could do that.
But depending
on how the
elections go, we might be meeting in a small island somewhere.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours to her city and then an hour to her house.
That's not that bad. Oh my God.
I've seen the satellite photos. You're in the middle of zero. I did come close to redneck mojitos one time though. Went out to a friend's house. He lives in the Ocala National Forest. Literally, he's got like an acre of land in there. And we were just kicking around. I brought rum with me, of course. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a mint plant." And I go and see this thing. The bush is about 4 feet tall and wide. It's just massive. And I'm ripping a crap ton of leaves off this thing. I was like, "Yeah, we're equipped. This is going to take care of the weekend easy." And I'm making the drinks up. Tasted delicious. The mint was awesome. And we're all raving about it. We're like, "Hey, Dean, thanks, man, because that plant worked out." He's like, "Tell me about it." I planted that thing over the septic tank, and it just took off. You could have heard whiskey sips all around the room. Oh, what the hell? Thanks. I'm making a drink with sewer mint. Wonderful.
But it was great.
Yeah, he could have saved the backstory, and everything would have been perfect.
Oh, come on. You're going to visit him again. You're going to take rum and you're going to enjoy the mint again. Fully knowing where it's growing.
Well, yeah, I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a little trepidation while I'm plucking.
Uh-oh. I wish we'd have the volume up for this. Apparently Hillary got heckled at Columbia University.
Whoa. Really?
Let me see if it's... I don't know if they're still...
She probably had an Israeli flag pin on.
Probably. Oh, apparently there's been a Palestinian mob riot at Rockefeller Center, too. Yay.
Oh, yeah, they have. And to go over there and free Palestine. I don't know from what. You can't free something that doesn't exist, but, whatever.
Yeah, honestly, things have been so crazy lately over here. I haven't even really been keeping up with the news. That's one reason why I plan on starting the morning show again, probably Monday, because I'll plug myself back in and subject myself to all the crazy over the weekend so I can get caught back up. But I don't know. In between all the stuff in my private life that every time I think I have it under control, something says, just kidding. And then, the world trying to end. I'm just like, you know what? I'm taking a break. I'll do the fun shit like making fun of Newsom, but I'm kind of taking a break on everything else.
Well, I just love the fact that they were all out in New York City last night protesting the lighting of the Christmas tree. Because all those Jewish people that come to Christmas tree lightings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So many.
Well, this just goes back to what I've been saying ever since all this crap started up again. There was a saying in the Muslim communities in the Middle East back in late 50s, early 60s, and it was first the Saturday people, then the Sunday people. We don't realize that when they're done with the Jewish people, we're next. At least these people that are like straight up like, oh,
they will not stop.
Yeah,
they have no plans on stopping until they're the only ones left. And people just don't realize that that's the plan. That's what the plan has been since Muhammad came out of the cave.
Exactly, because that's how they feel that that's how they feel that they're like for us, we have the stories in Revelations talks about, trials, tribulations, rapture. Some people believe there is going to be one, some people don't, but eventually the Christ is going to come back. So for the Muslims, the only way Muhammad comes back is after the world's been bathed in blood. That's the part everybody leaves out. In the religion of peace, the only way Muhammad can come back and these people get their version of heaven on earth, blah, 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 yada, 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 is after the entire world has been bathed in blood and all of the kafir are dead.
Well, that's the only way to have peace is to get rid of the infidel. And, to be honest, religion of peace is actually a misnomer. For the true word means surrender. So,
well, no, it's not a misnomer. It's a mistranslation. They don't mean P-E-A-C-E. It's P-I-E-C-E.
They mean P-I-E-C-E. Yeah.
Yeah. Religion of pieces is what they meant. Because we're gonna hack you into pieces. Sorry.
I remember getting into a conversation when we were taking world religions, and at the time Islam was not included, and if you wanted to learn about Islam, Islam was actually lumped with Christian Scientists and Mormons and other sects instead of a world religion. And somebody said, well, why is it included? I mean, it's a world religion. And the teacher actually said this. I said, the truth is it's a political ideology, and this is why. And he went on to explain. And the other student, decided to debate the whole point. And the way the teacher shut him up was, Muhammad went into the cave and he spoke to an ethereal being who told him what to write down in the Quran. And when Muhammad came out and was asked if he talked to an angel or a devil, Muhammad said he did not know. And this is why I can, and he told the guy, this is why I don't classify it as a religion. He didn't know. I'm like, that was kind of eye-opening for me.
I know the answer.
If Muhammad didn't know who the hell he was talking to when he was getting all the instructions, I'm like, maybe this was not the religion that it's made out to be.
Oh, we need to talk to Jeff then.
I'm sorry, what?
Need to talk to Jeff.
Why?
Because obviously it was aliens.
Oh.
It's all Jeff's fault, damn it.
Could have been an angel, could have been the devil, not really sure, but he had good ideas, so.
Of course.
Well, I mean, and I've had this argument with people that have religious studies degrees, and they start trying to tell me that Christianity, Judaism, and the Islamic faith are all offshoots of the original Judeo ideas, and I'm like, the hell they are. It's like, I will give you that for 2 out of the 3. But you obviously haven't even looked at the Quran. If you can honestly tell me that you think that is an offshoot of an Abrahamic religion, because it's not. They took a lot of the trappings from the Abrahamic religion, just like when the Romans moved into pagan areas, they stole all their holidays and said, hey, we're going to make this Christian-related stuff now, but we're going to make it like it's stuff that you recognize to make it easier for you to assimilate. That's basically what happened with Islam. They took a very popular faith of the time and they bastardized it. And now, when you listen to people that are supposedly the smart people when it comes to religion, well, they're all the same. No, they're not. They're really, really not. Islam, if you want to do a direct comparison, Islam and Judaism are pretty damn close together. They have a lot of the same rules. They have a lot of the same regulations. And they were pretty much hateful bastards back then. But there was a Reformation in Christianity. There was, the New Testament, or the New Covenant, which is actually how it used to be translated, when Christ came into the picture, that typically turned all of the Judeo-Christian ideas on their head and said, hey, no, we're going to do things a little bit different now. Now we want you to treat people the way you want to be treated, not slaughter them in their sleep.
Well, as I've always contended, most major religions go through a reformation. They do reform as they grow. It's how it's part of the culture in any religion except for Islam. Islam is locked into, it's absolute, and it cannot reform, which is another reason why it's not a true religion to me.
Well, that's because as far as Islam's concerned, it's still like 740 AD. So they're living like 1,300 or 1,400 years and 1,500 years in the past at this point. I can't even do the math anymore.
True.
Oh God!
There was a time when they didn't.
A rebuttal on this thing too. Sorry, it just came across the screen. I guess somebody's doing a rebuttal after this too. I guess that's why it's 90 minutes. I think it's going to be an hour.
Well, they're going to speak to the press too.
Oh, good Lord.
Who's doing
a rebuttal since both sides are represented here?
I don't know. That's why I was kind of confused. I could have swore I saw something about a rebuttal.
Maybe it's Robert Kennedy.
Could be.
That'd be epic.
Dude, I don't know, but if anybody else joins into this race, where it's going to be such a plurality mess that we're probably not going to know who the actual president is till 2026.
Well, most of the numbers I saw is that if Kennedy runs, he's going to be pulling everything away from Biden. Because right now they're asking, would you go for Trump or Biden? And they're about 2 percentage points away. But if you start adding in Kennedy and any of the other fringe candidates, Biden's numbers shrink significantly, like down to the 30s.
Well, that was the part.
That's what they're scared of.
Well, that was the part that I never really understood, because with Ross Perot, I mean, for like a year after that election, they were blaming him for the fact that the Republican didn't win. But then somebody started going in and looking at the forensics, and they were like, "Dude, he pulled more from the Democrat voter than he did from the Republican."
That's right.
Well, what killed Bush in that? Bush killed himself in that election. Because we had Desert Storm happen, and then we had a recession hit, and the economy crashed, and he ended up paying for that.
Yeah, he promised no new taxes, so he just raised the old ones, and people were pissed.
Oh yeah.
As soon as he raised taxes, he was dead.
Yeah. Read my lips. No new taxes, but we're just gonna raise the old ones.
Read my middle finger.
Yeah.
Actually, that election is the one election I didn't vote for an incumbent. Because they all had pissed me off, Democrats and Republicans. So I pretty much went down. If they had incumbent next to their name, they didn't get my vote.
Holy crap. I guess Mike Tyson beat the shit out of somebody on a plane? Dude, I have been unplugged for about a week.
I hadn't heard that, but that don't mean nothing.
They're talking about it
I don't
right
even
now.
watch TV.
What did he do on a plane?
I guess Mike Tyson got pissed off and started beating the shit out of somebody on a plane. Tyson's attorney received a shakedown letter related to some instigator's assessment of the situation. Hang on, let's go ahead and turn this up for a second.
Stages of I shouldn't have done it, but I was just irritated, tired, and high, and pissed off.
I guess this is from all the way back in like 2022.
I'm still glad he did it.
I don't want to hurt nobody.
The San Mateo County DA's office declined to file charges against Tyson due to the circumstances surrounding the confrontation. Jesse?
Thanks, Christina. After getting bit by a dog Monday, I had a lot of people telling me what to do. Should I just leave it?
No wonder I didn't remember it. It was like from almost 2 years ago at this point, but I guess there's a civil suit going on about it now. Dude's being sued for like $450 million. Does he even have that much money
Tyson ain't
anymore?
got that kind of money.
I was going to say, does he even have that kind of money anymore?
Hello?
Yep, still here.
Present.
Okay. It went quiet.
Yeah, I thought that was me. I was ready to cash out.
Hey, Brad, I dropped the link in the chat. I didn't know this was coming up, but they have a new Mad Max movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Furiosa. I'm like, really?
Yeah, they've been talking about it for a while. I think it got delayed a little because of the pandemic. Fury Road was actually quite a hit, so they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to make another one," and then everything got waylaid. But
I don't know.
I hadn't heard much about it. They must have rescheduled. It's probably filling in for some of the gaps they had as a result of the strikes. So that's encouraging, at least.
I don't know. Was I the only one who wasn't really a fan of the Fury Road thing? Maybe it was just me.
No, you were not.
I've never seen the movie.
You haven't seen any. What? You just might as well just leave your hand up anytime anybody talks about movies when we ask who hasn't seen it. Because
Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I saw Mad Max in the theater when it first released.
Back when they were.
And then I spent 3 years trying to convince people that this movie actually came out in the theaters when they brought out Thunderdome.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those that was more popular on cable But yeah, that was definitely a theatrical.
Well, Thunderdome came out and blew away, made millions of dollars. Everybody talked about it and all like that. And I'm like, but there's one before that. And everybody's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's a one before that one,
I was
too.
going to say, technically, there were 3 of
Yes.
the originals.
There were 3. My favorite part is that they had to dub Mel Gibson's voice because his accent was so hard.
I think that was the only movie ever that had a Ford Falcon looking badass.
This is true.
And for those of you out there who are interested, I used to sell 2 Mel Gibson films because when Thunderdome came out, I would sell almost everything that Mel Gibson was in. But there were 2 films that most people had not heard about. One was called Tim, and one was called Coast of Terror. And that one was so campy, but it was great. Highly recommend.
Speaking of Mel Gibson, I don't know if you've heard this, Brad, but apparently everybody's favorite Christmas movie is coming back to the theaters for Christmas season this year.
Are we talking about Fat Man?
Nope, Die Hard. Or no, wrong. I was thinking.
Well, yeah,
wrong
that
dude.
one
I was
bring that one back.
I was thinking wrong dude. Sorry, I got for like 2 seconds. I got Die Hard and Lethal Weapon crossed. My bad.
Well, they're both Christmas movies.
Oh, I know.
So it's understandable.
Not according to 55% of people that have been asked that question, though. Apparently,
well, they're stupid.
They did that.
I don't know what to do.
They did that on a radio station I listened to the other day. They're like, so we put out a poll, and 55% of the people agree that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and 45% of you are wrong. So I sent them an email. I'm like, yeah, no. First of all,
yeah, I'll have to uncork my annual proof that it is a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
It happens at Christmas time.
Literally, Christmas Eve.
His wife's name is Holly.
His wife's name is Holly. Ellis is doing snow. Hey.
Well, it's not just that, though, right? Like, the biggest thing I hear about everything, well, it can't be a Christmas movie. There's no Christmas miracle. Really? Dude falling off the Nakatomi Tower wasn't a big enough miracle for you?
You ask for a Christmas miracle, I give you the FBI. Are you kidding me? They tell you right there.
Come on, Theo. It's Christmas, the time of miracles.
O2 Joy is playing everywhere. There's trees all over the place exploding. You cannot tell me that's not a Christmas movie.
Plus, I found the interview with one of the producers that said during the production, they said, oh, this movie's going to play during Christmas for years.
Yep.
And then they go and release it in July. What?
I don't know about everywhere, but I know because I was living in Seattle when that came out. It was actually pushed locally as Christmas in July.
Yep. I was in Hawaii, and it was billed as Christmas in July over there. So yeah.
So
maybe it was the entire West Coast in Hawaii that was doing it.
I was going to say, I think they found a way to work it in kind of as a promo since they wound up releasing it in July. But that's just like Star Trek 4. It was supposed to be released in theaters over Christmas break, and they did a test airing, and it went through the roof. So they took a big-ass gamble and backed it up all the way to Thanksgiving break. And they're like, if we do this right, we'll get 2 of the biggest times of the year. Mm-hmm. And that's why that is still the highest-grossing Star Trek movie of all time, because they gambled and they won.
Yep.
And as weird as that one was, I mean, at least the science officer didn't lose an entire planet. Just saying.
Just saying. You know what's another Christmas movie, but you never hear anybody talk about?
1941?
Please tell me it's
Gremlins.
First Blood. Gremlins. That's right, Gremlins.
I mean, I always kind of accepted that one was a Christmas movie. Yeah, it came out over Christmas break. It was they were one of the bad dudes running around in a Santa hat. Come on.
Well, but it's also the girl doesn't like Christmas.
Well, the one thing that I didn't find out until years later, I did not realize that Howie Mandel was Gizmo's voice until about 5 or 6 years ago when he was doing American.
Really?
Yeah, he did AGT and did the impression. I'm like, holy crap! I did not know that was you.
Oh yeah.
Because somebody else did it on somebody else did a Gizmo impression on AGT, and he's like, "Hey, that's me." I'm like, "No fucking way!" I was like, "Yeah, I guess it is," because I looked it up. I don't know. I was like 8 or 9 when that movie came out, so I wasn't really paying attention to the names on the screen at that point.
God, I just aged another year.
Well, yeah, a few days ago. Oh wait, that's not what you meant.
So, what are the odds Nikki Haley drops out before the next debate?
She's not going to drop out. She's not.
Well, I mean, nobody officially drops out anymore. They just suspend their campaigns and then go away
Suspend
quietly.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, she did get the kiss of death today.
What did I miss?
Jen Rubin.
Oh, good Lord. The sandwich lady endorsed her? Yep, she's done. Jen, I never made a sandwich I didn't like, Reuben.
Well, I was just laughing because I think it was last night they were starting to push Nikki Haley as a vice presidential pick. And all the Trump people were going crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Great idea. And meanwhile, there's Laura Loomer running around with all her stupid-ass revelations about how she had an affair 11 years ago, and this makes her invalid. And then they announce her as a probable VP pick. Like, well done, Laura. Good job.
All I'm saying is if affairs make you invalid, then Donald Trump shouldn't be running for president.
Well, I kind of pointed that out, too. She's first making it sound like she was breaking this news, and people are like, yeah, we knew about that about a dozen years ago. She's like, yeah, but this is in court documents and a sex case was revealed. And I was like, yeah, that sounds very, very familiar, Laura. Where have we heard this story before?
Oh.
Wow. It's Laura Loomer.
Yeah. I always call her Laura Looney, but, you know.
Well, first thing I saw this morning when I got on the Zitter was Bruce's post. And read everybody complaining about the fact, and it's like, look, I can break out cheese tits.
Good Lord, what is this bullshit Kamala Harris just did? She just did some sort of, like, commercial spot or something. It's like, join me and Joe for a cup of Joe. I'm like, that doesn't even sound right. Anyway. So yeah, we're like 11 minutes and 12 seconds from this. Hang on. Let's see. Keep trying to go to the... Never mind. I keep trying to go to the wrong spot for the volume. I was trying to... I guess Elon Musk was slamming on Biden and I missed the chance to bring up the audio. Kind of sad now. Wall Street. Biden has to step aside. I'm telling you, this is why they're making a big deal about Gavin Newsom. Everybody's lost confidence in Biden. I mean, dude, if you've lost Wall Street, you're done. I don't even think the ballot fairy can save you if you've lost Wall Street. Because they're the ones pushing the ballot fairy.
This is true.
I think Waters does this on purpose. Almost every single picture he puts up of Biden makes him look so much more like Walter the Puppet. I swear to God. It's always like the deep scowl with the lines and the wrinkled forehead. I'm like, dude, could you find a picture that makes him look more like Jeff Dunham's puppet? I don't think so. Oh, good Lord. Cuomo just came out and said he would be open to voting for Trump. What the hell is going on?
Trump has told Cuomo and Adams that they need to fight this law because now the law came after them. That stupid 2-year law that they had where they expanded the statute of limitations on sexual harassment charges just to get Trump. Well, now people started going after the people that, the Democrats. And so Trump said, well, see, they came after you too.
Well, he told everybody they
And
would.
Trump was telling them, you need to fight this law.
I mean, he told everybody they were going to. He's like, if you think they're going to stop with me, you're crazy. Now that they've changed this law, y'all are next. They're like, no, they like us. Oh, shit. Never mind.
Yeah, I think CERN is having a fun time, let me tell you.
I don't know who's got that switch, but somebody needs to break that motherfucker's fingers. Just saying.
It's probably Johnny.
They're calling this one the state debate, red versus blue.
There is no reason for this debate to be going on. None. Have you ever heard of governors debating on a presidential? I mean, no.
Well, I mean, I could see like gubernatorial candidates debating each other, but I've never heard of two sitting governors, one of which is running for president, to debate
and the other
each
not
other on national TV. Well, I'm telling you, Newsom is running a shadow campaign, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. That's the only reason he went to China.
And the Middle East.
Yeah, and he didn't go there for the food.
Well, let's face it.
He questioned it.
Americanized Chinese food's better anyway. Just saying.
Yeah, I can't do without that MSG flavor.
Now you got me thinking of Uncle Roger. Where got MSG for you? Eyeing the throne. I would have put a different picture behind that. I'm just saying.
Okay, so what are we drinking to? What other? I'm assuming Trump is going to be one of the words. No, we'd probably be.
I was going to say, I think we kind of forgot to put together a drinking game for this one. I know I did. In between Thanksgiving and everything else, I completely forgot about it until like yesterday when it was like, yeah, I can be available for that too. I was like, oh shit, I forgot. So as soon as you reminded me, I put a notice out in the green room. I'm still trying to figure out.
I didn't make one either.
I'm still trying to figure out if we're even going to be able to do the fourth debate, because apparently it's being handled by somebody I've never heard of before, and I'm not even sure how you get to watch it.
Well, it's on News Nation, but usually they're also simulcasting on Rumble.
I was going to say, I think I heard it was going to be on Rumble, so I think I can find it over there. But yeah, when they were like News Nation, I was like, so how the hell does that group have like $8 million? Because that's what it costs to run one of these things.
Yes.
The one thing I will say that I don't understand about Elon, with as much trouble as he's getting into with the bigger sponsors and everything else, I don't understand why he doesn't start putting together smaller packages for other companies that are wanting to build up their brand to be able to advertise with X and be able to afford it. Because if he would put something together that I could afford, I'd pay for it in a heartbeat. Just because I have ad revenue tied into almost everything now. So if we can get a couple of good bumps, it wouldn't matter.
What does it take to get an ad on Twitter? Was it
Well, I mean, as far as like to do it like we do it, you can do the little mini campaigns that boost your post, but those are subject to so much different crap. I've never even seen how you get like the ads that just kind of drop in the feeds now like Facebook does. But apparently almost nobody's doing those right now because they're not sure what his plans are for the platform. The conservatives are staying away from it because he put the WEF bitch in charge, and the liberals are staying away from it because it's nothing but a bunch of racists now.
Yeah, they've got a lot of room to talk.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, dude, if you're going to come on, go on national TV and talk about how if you're going to try to blackmail me over sponsorship, just fuck off. First thing you need to do is find a CEO that actually understands what your vision is for X, not put somebody in charge that is going to do the exact opposite of what you're saying you want to do. Which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of like Orty. Some days Musk does things and I'm like, absolutely, oh my god, he's my hero. And the other days I'm like, dude, I wish he would just, go away and crawl in a hole somewhere. Because it's like, depending on what side of the bed he wakes up on that day, you don't know who you're getting.
True.
Let's see.
The only reason I'm kind of thinking this may be happening, because I mean, let's face it, Hannity's all in for Trump. He's all that's never not been a thing. But I do like the idea of DeSantis actually getting to debate somebody one-on-one. I think this may be a chance for him to get some people's attention because he's been kind of fighting for oxygen on these stages, especially with Vivek GPT there, or as I like to call him, Bollywood Beavis. That's another one. I just want to know when the fuck he's going to drop out and go away.
Well, we were talking about that on Newsbusters when I was on with Tim Graham about the last debate and Trump not being there. And we were both saying the same thing, that it's actually a good thing he's not there because we get to hear the other candidates for a change.
Well, I mean, it's not...
You're actually able to see what their platform is now. It's like, wait a second, this is unique.
Well, I mean, the other thing is Trump is basically there because that's all Vivek's there for. He's basically Trump's surrogate.
Trump light.
Hey, I thought I recognized your echo.
Me!
I know your name.
She knows my name.
So do most of the moms buying Circle K.
Well, we already talked about Disney, so we got the culture shift taken care of tonight.
Okay, good. I mean, okay, has the debate started or?
About 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, look at that. My timing is impeccable. I mean, that's going to be a topic tonight, for sure.
Yeah, if we had done the drinking game, that probably would have been the best one to put on there. Everybody would have been hammered by the end.
Yeah,
I was going to go with COVID.
We shouldn't do drinking games during debates anymore because they're just so predictable and stupid.
Well, yeah, I was going to say woke would probably put everybody under the table.
Yeah, I mean,
COVID. Can you really handle listening to these people sober? I can't.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Nikki Haley's campaign is done now that she got the kiss of death.
Yeah, we were talking about
that
earlier.
It's over. Oh, that's nice, Mike. Thank you.
So Jim Cramer is backing her, is what you're saying?
Yeah. The Jim Cramer of politics is backing her. I mean, yeah. If you just want your basically political career to be over, let Jen Rubin support you. So anyway, next on the culture shift.
Oh. Well, just don't forget, Team Pain is blackface.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, they're really pushing that one, aren't they?
Oh, they're trying.
They really want to cancel that kid.
Oh, yeah, they've come out and said, well, he wore the wrong headdress. That is not a Chumash headdress. No, you're right. It's a Kansas City Chiefs headdress. That's who he was there to honor, okay?
What's funny is somebody posted a picture of his granddad wearing the same headdress, same style headdress.
I don't think you want to mess with Grandpa.
And they're going after, and the tribe actually had to put out a statement saying, yes, we understand this is not our headdress, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I'm going,
we will limit answers to 60 seconds.
Anyway, I was leaving it down so you guys can keep talking, but it's starting now.
Let the debate breathe
as needed, along with a 30-second time for rebuttal. Let me start by introducing both Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, California Governor Gavin Newsom. Governors, thank you both for being here.
Sean
Really
Hannity's
appreciate
voice
it.
just makes me want to punch kids.
I know both of you personally. I've known you both for a long
I
time.
hate him
I know
so
you're very
many.
busy. I also know this. I know that
That's
both
because
of
he
you
helped you get
love
Governor
your individual
Schwarzenegger.
states. I know you both have a deep and abiding love for our country, as I do. But where we are in the country,
Why
we've
you
never
gonna lie
been
like
this
that about
divided in
Gavin
a long
Newsom,
time.
dude? He
There
don't
are
love nobody
clear
but
and
himself.
deep
His
and
reflection in the
profound
mirror.
differences in your approach to governance. And
Okay,
before we
are we
begin,
going to hear
one
about
quick
Sean
note to all
Hannity
of you
being
that
a
are
former
watching at home.
construction worker?
Okay. I'm now
Oh,
the
at
longest
least
running
once,
primetime
Drake.
cable host in the history of cable news. I'm now, and I feel blessed, in my 28th year at Fox. It's kind of widely known that I am a conservative. However, tonight I will be
No, you're not.
moderating this debate. I will not be part of the debate.
He's a
Our
grifter.
questions tonight will be coming from well-sourced, fact-centered perspectives, and you will see and hear
I
most
miss
of tonight's
Combs.
questions will
Not even
deal
gonna lie.
with the most fundamental issues, the ones that impact the lives of the people that make this country great, the people in Florida, the people in California, and in many ways, every state in the country. We'll discuss taxes, the economy, immigration, crime, guns, homelessness, education, parental rights, abortion, gas prices. In other words, the things that impact you every single day. In the end, you will get to decide which governing philosophy you believe is better. The governors will explain their governing philosophy. And again, fact-based questions. Well, let's get started. Everybody ready? All right. As we speak, there is a phenomenon. It is playing out across the entire country. Americans, they are leaving blue states in droves in favor of red states. You can see numbers on the screen right now from the years 2021 and 2022. These particular numbers are stark in the state that you lead. In the case of you, Governor Newsom, according to the U.S. Census, this is where the numbers come from. In 2021, 2022, California's lost 750,000 residents to other states. Governor DeSantis, during that same two-year period, you gained 454,000 residents from other states. So, Governor DeSantis, we had a coin toss. I was not part of it. I missed it. But apparently, Governor Newsom, you won the coin toss. And you chose to let Governor DeSantis have the first question. You will get the last word tonight. So I begin with you. For Governor Newsom, I will ask, what your response is on this as well. It's a simple question. How do you explain this phenomenon? Governor, what's going on?
If it's a simple question, is there an off-ramp before we get to the end of it?
Naval Amphibious Base Coronado in Southern California. And I was a lifelong Floridian, but I went there and I was like, man, this is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And I think California has more natural advantages than any state in the country. You almost have to try to mess California up. And yeah, that's what Gavin Newsom has done since he's been governor. He's the first governor to ever lose population. They actually, at one point, ran out of U-Hauls in the state of California because so many people were leaving. Of course, he's imposed restrictions on his own people while exempting himself from those restrictions and going to the French Laundry while his people were suffering.
Ooh, DeSantis goes for the jugular in the first question.
Locking kids out of school while he had his own kids in private school in person. Now, he's very good at spinning these tales. He's good at being slick and slippery. He'll tell a blizzard of lies to be able to try to mask the failures. But the reality is they have failed because of his leftist ideology. And the choice for America is this. What Biden and Harris and Newsom want to do is take the California model and do that nationally. In Florida, we showed that conservative principles work. This country must choose freedom over failure.
Governor Newsom, your reaction.
Well, it's good to be with you, Sean. It's nice also to see you in a tie as well tonight. Good to be with you, Ron. And
I dressed up for the occasion, Governor.
No, I'm impressed and I'm grateful. Look, it's an important occasion. This is an important conversation. And I think it's important to folks watching. They're probably wondering, what are we actually doing here? And I want to answer that.
Not answering the
directly. I'll tell you
question.
why
That's
I'm
why.
here. I'm here to tell the truth about the Biden-Harris record and also compare and contrast Ron DeSantis' record and the Republican Party's record as a point of contrast that's as different as daylight and darkness. You want to bring us back to a pre-1960s world, America in reverse. You want to roll back hard-earned national rights on voting rights, on civil rights, on LGBTQ rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but also access to contraception. You want to weaponize grievance. You are focusing on false separateness. You in
Gavin,
particular,
the
Ron,
question?
are on a banning binge, a cultural purge, intimidating and humiliating people you disagree with. You and President Trump are really trying to light democracy on fire. So, Sean, there are profound differences tonight. I look forward to engage them. But there's one thing in closing that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
Governor, great opening statement, but
Didn't
it
answer
did not
the question.
It
I mean,
didn't
I
address the issue. Can you explain this migration out of California and going to red state, blue state?
Well, hold on. You mean the last 2 years, more Floridians going to California than Californians going to Florida?
No, I put up on the
by the way, that's going to be fun to fact check. So we'll just start right there. California has no peers. California dominates, sizable 21 state populations combined. It's the fifth largest economy in the world. We dominate, number one manufacturing state. We dominate in two-way trade and research and development, access to innovation, more scientists, more researchers, more engineers, more Nobel laureates in the state of California than any other state in the nation, the finest system of higher education.
More homeless,
it's the
too.
birthplace of life science and biotech and nanotechnology. We dominate in green tech.
Notice
we
he's still
dominate
not
in
answering
high
the
tech.
question.
We dominate in artificial intelligence. So with respect, I think it's an interesting campaign strategy for Ron DeSantis to be bashing a state of 40 million Americans when California simply has no peers.
Well, that's a pretty slick way of not answering your question. He went on a binge of putting out a lot of left-wing platitudes. Here's what I would say. I talked to a lot of people that have moved from California to Florida, and we never used to get people from California to Florida or really anywhere in these states. Why would you leave California? It's got the best weather, great natural features. Excuse me, sir. So, but one of the things that I did, I had, I was talking to a gentleman, a couple.
Guys, I'm going to let the debate breathe. But it's his turn. Let's take turns.
So I was talking to a fella who had made the move from California to Florida, and he was telling me that Florida is much better governed, safer, better budget, lower taxes, all this stuff. And he was really happy with the quality of life. And then he paused and he said, by the way, I'm Gavin Newsom's father-in-law. So we do count Gavin's in-laws as some of the people that have fled California and come to the state of Florida. And why are we letting people to come? We have a 50-year low in the crime rate. You don't see in the last 10 years, we've had a 45% decline in homelessness.
Governor, your response? Yeah, my father-in-law's an
increase
ass.
in homelessness. We back the blue. I was walking the streets of San Francisco a couple months ago, and I had some of the cops in San Francisco do a beeline to come over to me, and I didn't know what they were going to say. And they're like, we want to thank you for standing for law enforcement because we don't get that support in the state of California. So people understand quality of life matters. They understand that Florida's doing it right, and I can tell you the numbers speak for themselves. We have way more people moving to this state than leaving. Gavin can't say the opposite. More people are leaving California than are moving into California.
Let me bring up
coming to California the other way around the last 2 years. But let's talk about crime.
Governor, hold on. Governor, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
You said a lot of things that were factually untrue, including that 50-year crime low, which his own law enforcement team should not be using.
You have yet to address the issue, but I asked you twice. You don't want to answer it. But the issue of why the migration out of red states, out of blue states.
We just established more Floridians coming to California in the last 2 years than the other way.
Overall, you had a net loss of 7.
It's a fact.
Just asserted it.
It's a fact.
No, it's not a fact.
It is a fact.
Moving on. Let's go. Your states have vastly different income tax rates. Okay, it is what it is. These are the facts. California's highest rate for top earners, 13%. Married couple, for example, in California, earning a median income of $84,000, they have a 6% income tax in the state of California. Florida's income tax rate is 0% across all salaries, but it goes beyond income taxes. Property taxes are lower in California, but everything else is higher. Let's take a look at the numbers. These are the facts. The average property tax in California, 0.75%. Florida, 0.91%. Sales tax, California, 7.25%. Florida, 6%. Gas tax rate, California, 77 cents a gallon. That is a low estimate.
I didn't know they were raping you that hard. I knew it was bad, but damn.
Fees, and in Florida, it's 35 cents. Corporate income tax, California, 8.84%. Florida, 5.5%. Governor Newsom, this is your question. Let me ask you. Obviously,
and real
you
quick about that
different
property tax
philosophy.
thing, too.
Absolutely.
That's next to Proposition 13 that the left keeps trying to overturn every year. That's why we have the Howard Jarvis Tax Freedom Foundation in the state.
I agree with you completely. He has one of the most regressive tax rates in the United States of America. It's the number 3 most regressive state in America. And what that means is simply this. Who does he tax? He taxes low-income workers more than we tax millionaires and billionaires in the state of California. The question is a simple one. Who, Ron, are you for? It's a factual lie that the state of California is high tax, has the highest tax rate, but for whom? And it's a foundational and fundamental difference. You look at states like Texas, overwhelming majority of Texans pay more taxes than the state of California. So again, it's who you're for.
And
I think those values
and yet,
I appreciate you
and
bringing
yet
up the issue
speaking
of
as a
taxes.
Texan,
How
I can
many
afford to live
people
here and not in
leave
California.
Florida to go to California because they pay less taxes? I've not seen that. Are people going from Florida to New York because they pay less taxes? Of course not. They come to Florida because they pay lower taxes. We don't even have an income tax. And yet California has a higher sales tax than we do, and that's one of the things that we do. But here's the thing, and I'll give Gavin credit. He did at least admit in his first answer, he's joined at the hip with Biden and Harris. He thinks Biden and Harris have done a great job. He thinks the economy is working because of their policies for Americans, and they are not. And so what California represents is the Biden-Harris agenda on steroids. They would love nothing more than to get 4 more years to be able to take the California model nationally. That would be disastrous for working people in this country.
We'll talk about working people.
Where Gavin lied in that, too, is for him to say that,
and it's just a value proposition.
he taxes the
It's a
richest
fact.
people.
Again,
You have to understand that right now the base salary in California is $40,000
How
a
do they
year.
afford that? These
That's
are folks that are blue-collar.
Well, but they also, California also will charge you taxes.
Plus, here in Florida, a majority of our taxes are on the
That's the thing about California. They have one of the highest inequality rates because, they've got Silicon Valley billionaires. They've got a lot of very wealthy people. They've got a lot of people that are on government assistance, but they've hollowed out their middle class. That's who's been leaving California. They've been leaving in other places. They go to Arizona. They go to Nevada. They go to all these places.
Let me just
Biden is hollowing out this country. They're doing in California.
Ron, I'm happy that you continue to talk. Let's talk a little bit about Bidenomics because I'm happy to take that on right now as well. And I think it's
You're
a fair
big
point.
Supporter of it. I appreciate you acknowledging
14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined.
Because he
We're still below where we were pre-COVID, asshole.
3.9%.
Are you kidding me?
3.9% unemployment. As he continues to talk over me, I'll talk to the American people. 3.9% unemployment, the lowest black unemployment in American history, the lowest unemployment for
Only
Hispanics
Gavin can talk
in
over
American
him.
history, the lowest unemployment for women in 70 years, the lowest black poverty rates in history. That's this administration's agenda. And by the way, as you smile and smirk over there, you should know this, the American people. Here's a guy who celebrated Bidenomics just this week, celebrating $28 million that came into your state because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR. I'm proud of the work Biden and Harris have done.
Would you like to respond? And I do have a follow-up. The 6% rate on people, families, couple in California, they pay 6% income tax on $84,000 a year.
Low-wage workers in the state of Florida pay more than billionaire state of California.
I didn't ask about Florida.
But here's let me ask the question. Let me ask the question.
To try to cover for his
Ron, if I may answer the
question.
California has lower taxes, lower than 32 states for working families in the middle class, significantly lower taxes than places like Texas.
You support a 6% income tax for people, a couple
I'm
making
against
$84,000.
progressive taxes that advantage billionaires and millionaires over working families and the working poor. People in his state pay more taxes in the low end than we tax people on the high end. That's
paying
fact.
$7 a gallon gas help working people? That doesn't help working people at all. How does paying an 8% sales tax help working people? That doesn't help working people at all. They have the highest taxes in the nation. People flee to be able to save money to get out of California. And you have working class people that move to these other states. Their dollars go much further. But here's the thing. They want to take this Bidenomics and they want to double down on this for the next 4 years. How many people are able to afford groceries now compared to what you were doing 3 or 4 years ago? I talked to people, I talked to a woman who had a cart full of groceries going in, and they're ringing it up. And it got to be so expensive, she has to take a lot of the stuff out. That didn't used to be the case. People used to be able to work hard and get ahead. That is not true under Joe Biden. And you know what, Sean, one more final thing.
$11,000.
Unemployment rate is 60% higher than Florida's unemployment rate. Our unemployment rate is 2.8%. Theirs is 4.8%. Why?
Governor.
Because it's a command and control economy. They have a political agenda that they're pursuing.
Let me ask that question.
People.
On with the question of jobs. I think it's important. You know what? That affects. That affects everybody.
Biden administration, the last 3 years,
Is Joe Biden paying you tonight?
3.9%.
I thought this was state versus state.
No, but it's about the United States of America. I thought this guy was running for president of the United States. If
You
you're
are
running
too.
for a
You just want to
you're
admit it.
running for a third.
That you're running.
All right, we can't talk. I'm going to move on to the next question. The unemployment rate in Florida right now is just 2.8%, as you stated. And California ranks second worst in the country at 4.8%. Hold on. This question goes to Governor DeSantis, and then you'll have a chance to respond. Governor DeSantis.
Well, right. I mean, they tax too much. They regulate too much. They have a political agenda. It's not a good climate for business. They've lost a lot of companies. A lot of companies have moved to Texas. We have had some to Florida, but they've lost a lot of companies to Texas because they're not doing a good job looking out for folks and not creating a good business environment. And, when I have people that come to Florida, they tell me, you guys actually want us to succeed in Florida. And they feel like when they're in California, they don't want business to succeed.
Is that what Disney's
and all that
saying,
stuff.
the Tampa Bay Rays?
Well, actually, yeah. I think that's an interesting point with Disney because I had Disney open during COVID, and we made them a fortune, and we saved a lot of jobs. You had Disney closed inexplicably for over a year. You were not following science. You were a lockdown governor. You did a lot of damage to your people. You had more kids locked out of school for a longer period of time.
Gavin,
in
let him talk to the
California
American
than
people.
Anywhere else in the country. It was the working class kids. It was the middle income kids. His kids were in private school. They were in class in person. He locked people out because of the teachers' union. He is owned by the teachers' union. You will never cross the teachers' union.
This is just a lot of hot air.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
Let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about your record on COVID. You passed an emergency declaration before the state of California did. You closed down your beaches, your bars, your restaurants.
False.
It's a fact. You had quarantines.
False.
You had quarantines. You had
Because
checkpoints
you
all
told
over the
people
state
to
of
go to Chinatown.
Florida. By the way, I didn't say that. Donald Trump laid you out on this. Dead to right. You did that.
True.
You followed science. You followed Fauci.
That's not false.
He followed science. He followed Fauci. You were
why did
promoting.
everyone leave
Hold on. You were
California to come to
promoting
Florida because we
vaccines.
were open?
You were promoting
We were
vaccines. You
open.
even
We were
wore a
closed.
mask in
We were
September.
open.
Sean,
You were closed.
If it's okay with you, we'll do this.
Why were you
Why don't we do
closed for
this
so
in a way
long?
where we both can have
Why were you closed for
opportunity?
so long?
You wore
You
a
were
mask
closed.
with
Guys,
Donald
guys,
Trump
closed.
outside
I'm trying to let it breathe.
in September
Gavin,
2020. He did all of that
Newsom.
until he decided to fall prey to the fringe of his party. And as a consequence of that, Ron, tens of thousands of people lost their lives.
Not true.
The equivalent, if I had your policies, the equivalent of 10 9/11s. Tens of thousands of people lost their lives. And for what, Ron?
Those are more lies. In fact, the Lancet just did a study. Florida had a lower standardized COVID death rate than California did. That's a Lancet study. One more thing. The other thing we had, the other thing California had, California had higher excess mortality than
All right, gentlemen.
Let me talk about the excess mortality real quick.
Honestly,
because the
hold on a
excess
second.
mortality is other
I
things.
want to ask you both. Slow down. I want everyone to be heard. If I can ask you, I really do want this to breathe. I want this debate to breathe. I want it to organically develop. To do that,
What
I
does
need
that
both
even
your
mean,
cooperation. I
Sean?
don't want to be a hall monitor. It's not my style, all right? You mentioned COVID. Let me go
Organic.
to COVID.
California.
And I plan to bring this up later, but you both took very different approaches when it comes to COVID. Governor Newsom, you issued the nation's first stay-at-home order on March 19th of 2020. Governor DeSantis, you took a lot of heat for reopening schools. You opened schools in Florida in August of 2020. All right, so here's the data, which I think is important. This is where the facts come in. Your state's death rates were almost identical.
This is factually untrue.
Hold on.
Factually untrue.
Okay. And by the way, both your states, with such different approaches, which is pretty fascinating, were both lower, significantly lower than the national average.
Tell us what you.
These numbers
Tell
come
us how you
straight from
really
the
feel.
CDC. So, Governor Newsom, how do you explain that?
The facts. Per capita death rates
That's what that is.
in the state of Florida were 29%. 29% per capita higher. 29%.
That's not what the stats say right there.
People Tens of thousands of people
Don't
unnecessarily
lie about
died.
it. He put the graphic
Tens
up there.
of
Don't
thousands
lie
of people
about it.
unnecessarily
You don't need to lie
died
about it.
because of your policies.
Just understand.
You're lying
You don't
about
need to
your
lie
record.
about it. No, it's not.
You were a lockdown governor.
No, it's
you
not.
locked down
All right, one at a time.
schools.
Gavin
You
Newsom,
locked down
finish
your
your thought.
beaches, bars, and restaurants. That's just a fact. He's running away from his record. He's running away from the fact. Tens of thousands of people died
You saw the
unnecessarily
CDC
because he
numbers.
caved to it's 29% higher death rate in the state
Not
of
according to
Florida
the CDC.
versus the state of California.
quick
Tens of
response,
thousands
Governor.
of people
You
died.
showed the stats.
Fact.
The stats are very clear.
One at a time.
On a per capita age-adjusted basis, California and Florida basically the same. Now, why is that important? Because Gavin Newsom did huge damage to people in California. He ruined livelihoods. We reopened the state very quickly. We saved thousands of jobs. We saved hundreds of thousands of jobs, thousands of businesses. We had our kids in school. He had the kids locked out of school because of the teachers union. That is having a generational impact. California has one of the lowest literacy rates in the country. In the most recent NAEP exam, Florida came in number 3 for 4th grade reading. California was far, far behind. So you should apologize for not getting your kids in school. Why didn't you get the kids in school in the summer of 2020 like we did? You bowed to the teachers union. You didn't do the job you should have done.
All right,
The only person,
quick,
the only person
All right,
needs
one
to
at a time, quick
apologize
answer.
is Ron DeSantis for the tens of thousands of lives that died unnecessarily because he played to the fringe of his party.
We got to take a break.
And
finish your thought.
No, and when it comes to the issue of schools, you better be careful. You had more learning loss during COVID than the national average in the state of California. It's a fact. More learning loss. Your economy contracted more in 2020.
Quick break.
Expanded slower than California in 2021. More to come on this topic.
Don't believe the experts in the data. Believe Gavin Newsom.
Amazing. The graphic is up. He'll like about it.
Well, that's
it's because it works.
That's my governor.
Well, it's not just your governor. That's the whole tactic of the left. They can have the data right behind him, and they're still like, no, that's not really what happened.
Okay, where DeSantis failed out right there is just constantly harping on being in the pocket of the teachers union. You only had to say that once. It had the impact.
Yes.
I mean, Newsom immediately just went stuck on stupid at that point. So that's actually where, he got into his GOP debate mode rather than this debate mode. He just kept saying the same line over and over. And I'm still laughing that Newsom was fucking prepped by Nikki Fried.
You have no idea how much laughter that generated down here.
Because if you want to talk to anybody about Florida politics, it's the OnlyFans chick.
Well, maybe that.
Well, hopefully she's OnlyFans because she's not good at anything else.
It's like I said this afternoon. Was Andrew Gillum not available?
Right. Charlie Chris, too busy, not winning.
Yeah,
I do got to say this, though, about the debate. It's pretty encouraging to see the guy that was just recently traveling to Florida, Texas, China, the Middle East, finally talking about his state for a change.
Yeah, I mean, the only time he's actually in his state is when, Xi Jinping or Winnie the Pooh, whatever, shows up.
Xi Jinping. That's what I'm
Xi Jinping. You know what? I'm stealing that.
Feel free. I'm just glad I actually seem to have come up with one for once, because I'm usually stealing it from everybody else.
That's gold, Jerry. That's gold.
Yeah, I still don't necessarily even know who came up with Bollywood Beavis. We think it was Kurt Schlichter, but we're not sure.
Oh, for Vivek GPT?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Schlichter. It's so weird, the evolution of my relationship with the Colonel. From getting along great to hating each other because he had no pivot point on Trump, just all of a sudden just started sucking his dick. And then hating Trump, and now just being his old self again before all that shit went down.
Yeah, I mean, some people have turned back to normal. Others not so much.
Him and Nick seriously tweet my memes, and they both had me blocked at some point under a different name long, long ago.
Yeah. Hey, at least you can get Cersei's attention. You don't even know who I am.
Boo.
But I have.
So did we lose everybody else?
I don't think so.
Did they all go get cocktails?
I think they're
I'm
all.
here.
I think they're all like off making better drinks.
I'm lamenting the fact that Nick Searcy knows me over on Facebook, but has absolutely no idea who I am on Twitter. As a matter of fact, Nick Searcy followed me. I mean, he friended me on Facebook before I friended him because I was a friend of Gary Graham's. And he said, nobody's going to be a friend of Gary Graham's without being my friend. And I was like, okay.
See, that would have had more impact if it was Richard Garrett.
Man, that dude kills me.
That's when
well, since everybody's name dropping, I'm going to step out for a bit and go see Captain Morgan.
With your leg raised?
You can't see.
I gotta go get the opinion of the Christian brothers.
You can't go see Captain Morgan without your leg raised. It's required.
Yeah, you got to raise your leg. Just don't pee on anything.
No, we didn't say hike the leg.
Operate under these constraints.
Nobody said hike the leg. They said raise the leg. There is a difference.
Okay, as long as Brad didn't hear what I just said, I'm good.
He probably heard you. He doesn't care. Or he'll make a comment when he comes back.
I miss the old Captain commercials where they do it was cool when they did the Iggy Pop Passenger, and then they did the just brain farted too. White Stripes Bell and Ball.
Oh yeah.
Ball and Biscuit. Yeah. So yeah, those were fun ads.
Those were.
Oh, and we got Tito in the chat.
Oh, good.
As long
Lord.
as we're talking to friends. Christian Brothers, Tito.
And they are back.
Sorry I was late.
Walker.
Sorry I stepped out. I had a phone call.
To illegal
You're all
immigrants
good.
during his campaign was let them come. I'd have the tape, but I said I wouldn't play the tape. And since taking office, Biden said he's gotten control of the border. Vice President Kamala Harris, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, Biden's press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre have all said the border is either secure
I'm still
or
mad.
the border is closed.
I'm still mad
Border
that
Patrol
Karine
says,
Jean-Pierre didn't
well,
take
guess
off.
what? They have been a record 6.5 million encounters with illegal immigrants and so-called asylum seekers at the border since President Biden took office. The administration says, well, they don't know how many people actually are in the country illegally. Gentlemen, the American people, I ask you, I believe it's your turn, Governor Newsom, have the American people on the issue of borders, you're defending the Biden administration, they're saying the border's secure, they're saying the border's closed, those are the numbers from our own Border Patrol. Are the American people being lied to?
I don't think they're being lied to. The Biden administration put out a comprehensive plan day one when he got sworn into office 3 years ago, and the Republican Party didn't touch it. They haven't moved on it. They play politics with us. And I'll be honest with you, I think there's probably one person I wouldn't listen to on
Biden
this
took
topic
down the
more
border
than the guy
walls. The
that I'm
Republicans'
standing
fault
next
for
to,
not
Ron
putting it back
DeSantis.
up.
He lacks any credibility on the issue of immigration. When he was in Congress, he supported amnesty. When he's in Congress, you supported John Boehner's bill. It's a fact. When you were in Congress, you supported Obama's. You supported Obama's efforts to advance comprehensive reform.
False.
The last guy you want to talk to on the issue of immigration. Your immigration policy can best be described as a governor from the state of Florida going into another state, the state of Texas, lying to migrants, promising them jobs and housing, sending them to an island, Martha's Vineyard, and then sending them to a parking lot in Sacramento, California. I met with those migrants that you lied to under false pretense. That kind of gamesmanship, using human beings as pawns, I think is disqualifying. So again, a guy who stands here who's been out on the Republican debate stage saying, well, he's going to be tough, he's going to shoot people with backpacks, and that he has a strategy to potentially even invade our second largest trading partner, Mexico, that has a record of supporting amnesty and supporting reforms under the Obama administration, is the last guy to be standing on stage talking about the issue of immigration.
So Newsom says it's horrible that he
I'll tell you
supported
what,
Democrat
it's deja vu
policy.
all over again.
Yes.
With that flurry of lies.
I was
This is
wondering
a
if
guy
I was
that
the
says
only
the
one
Biden
kind of
administration
picking
is
up on
not
that.
lying
I was
to
like,
the
wait a minute.
public about the border. They go to the White House briefing room every day. They say the border is secure. They are lying to you. We know that that's not true. Gavin Newsom is lying to you when he says somehow I supported these things, which I didn't do. He's also lying to you about what it's going to take to solve this problem. California is a sanctuary state. They thumb their nose at federal immigration law, and this has real consequences. There was an illegal alien, Herbert Nixon Flores, who was in L.A., in custody. He was a repeat criminal. ICE wanted to take him into custody because then they would be able to deport him. L.A. refuses to work with ICE, and so they wouldn't turn him over. They end up releasing him on the street. He ends up murdering the mother of a 3-year-old little girl. Those policies are deadly. They do not work. And I'll tell you this. The Martha's Vineyard transport, Martha's Vineyard said it was a sanctuary jurisdiction. Kind of reminds me about Gavin Newsom when he restricted Californians, then he went to the French Laundry. These liberal elites, they like to impose burdens on you. They don't want to have to face the consequences of their actions. So we've got a lot of
don't
elites
bring it up again.
who want open borders, who lecture everybody else about it. And the minute they have to deal with any of the consequences, oh man, all hell breaks loose.
How about the consequences of we're moving on. We're moving to the next question.
We'd be much better
on the same topic. On the same topic, this is important. This is a very important question. While some migrants I know want to come to America for a better life for themselves and their family, find the American dream, I totally sympathize with them. Many good people fleeing very bad situations abroad. But others are abusing the asylum process. And in the process, in search of where they're coming from, we're now learning that many are coming from some of our top geopolitical foes, countries with little to no vetting, or people that are coming in. They're not being vetted. Look at these numbers. Between October 2021, October 2023, border agents encountered 6,386 nationals from Afghanistan, 3,153 from Egypt, 659 from Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, 538 from Syria, 12,605 from Russia, and a whopping 26,113 from China. Now, the next question goes to you, Governor Newsom. What are the odds that Biden's open borders have allowed terrorists and terror cells unvetted into this country? Is that a clear and present danger to every American?
The odds are 100%. Of course our enemies are going to take advantage of this. He opened the border. He's violating his oath of office to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. He's knowingly having 8 million come in. And yes, there's criminal aliens. There are terrorists. There's a lot of fentanyl. That we've had tens of thousands of fentanyl deaths. I've met a lot of angel parents who have lost kids to fentanyl overdose. And the problem is, you'll have a college kid that may take some pill not knowing that there's fentanyl in it. And then right there, that can be fatal. They're poisoning our people. And Joe Biden is sitting on his hands. He refuses to take care of the border. He refuses to hold the drug cartels accountable. This is the vision of Biden, Harris, Newsom. Open borders. Americans suffer, and Americans continue to die because of fentanyl overdose. There will be, unfortunately, a terrorist attack at some point that we'll be able to trace back to our southern border.
God forbid. By the way, do you see that risk, Governor Newsom?
Hold on.
Governor, do you see the risk?
Joe Biden put out not only a comprehensive plan, he consistently puts up plans.
Hold
on, no, but Sean,
is there a risk?
I'm going to answer your question. I support border security. I think the asylum system is broken.
He's going to answer the question.
That we.
I understand that.
I'm the only guy here that's a border state governor. You're trolling folks and trying to find migrants to play political games, to try to get some news and attention so you can out-Trump Trump. And by the way, how's that going for you, Ron? You're down 41 points in your own home state. On the issue of immigration,
citation
Joe Biden
needed.
put a $14 billion immigration package up in front of Congress, 2,300 border agents, as well as custom officials, 1,000 new law enforcement officers to deal with the fentanyl issue. And by the way, that's a major issue in your state, 41% higher overdose rates than the state of California. And here's what I haven't heard.
Citation
Not a
needed.
peep from Ron DeSantis. They want to demagogue this issue. You want to play politics with issues. You don't want to solve this issue. Why don't you lead your
I think he just likes the
Governor
number
Newsom
41.
and support that $14 billion package?
Hold on. I have a follow-up. Governor Newsom, I appreciate your answer. You have mentioned comprehensive immigration reform many times. It's not happened under Joe Biden. I don't think it's going to happen next year.
We put a detailed plan in. Republicans in Congress refused to act on it.
Let me finish my
Congress
question.
To work with
am I misremembering, or when
with
Biden
all of
got
these
elected,
millions and millions of people
of
coming into this country unvetted, the question was and remains, is this a clear and present danger from the countries I put up on the screen? Is that a clear and present danger to America? And what do you do in the interim
That's
before
why
you
the
can
President of the United States put a $14 billion package in front of Congress they can act on today.
And what would that?
They haven't done anything in 2 years, this Congress.
What do you
Literally
support?
not a single piece of
border wall?
legislation. I support the $14 billion package President's put forward. That includes 2,300 border agents and customs officials. By the way, also includes $850 million in new technology for border security. You hear nothing from Ron DeSantis. You hear nothing, Sean, respectfully. You hear nothing from the Republican Party. They play politics.
I'm almost out of time.
The President put the plan up to address
Does it
the
worry?
anxiety
Let me ask the question another way. Does it worry you that our top geopolitical foes, the number one state sponsor of terror, Iran, China, Russia, Afghanistan, Syria, that they're at our southern border? You're a border state governor. Does that concern you at all? The
why else would I have put the answer is yes. Why else would I put the National Guard? Why would I have just increased it by 50% on the largest port in the Western Hemisphere in my state? I mean, this guy has no record. The fact that you supported amnesty, the fact you supported Obama's reforms, those are facts. They're just simple facts. The fact that your greatest contribution, Ron, to this debate is shooting people with backpacks.
I don't mind.
That's so inhumane.
I don't mind him lying to me.
Ron.
I don't mind Gavin lying to me, but I do mind him lying to you. He is sitting there saying that Joe Biden is willing to solve this problem. Is there anybody out there that actually believes this? Joe Biden created this problem. So if he's willing to lie to you about that, you know he's lying to you about all these other facts and figures, about all this other stuff. He's just throwing stuff out to see what sticks against the wall. This is a slick, slippery politician whose state is failing, people are leaving his state, and he's trying to run interference for his failure.
We've got to take our second break. When we come back, we have a lot more ground to cover. Quick break. We have a lot of ground to cover. More with Governors DeSantis and Newsom.
Heard enough of that guy's voice to last me a lifetime.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, and to your point, Archer in chat, he hasn't answered any question yet.
Nope, not one. But is anybody surprised?
This is why you don't. Okay, I'm still pissed at fucking Larry Elder ran. Sucked all the oxygen out of that recall. Because he wasn't going to beat Governor Hairgel. And now we still have Governor Hairgel. Yeah, and you can just, you can say, oh, he's lying. Well, yeah, and even the stats are up on the screen proving that Newsom is lying, but he just trundles on through because the media never, ever has called him out once. I mean, even the media in the state, it's hard-pressed to get them to even ask a question that isn't, why aren't you so great? What was the most enchanting moment of that dinner you had at the French Laundry?
Well, Orty, I was there when y'all re-elected Jerry Brown.
Let's not talk about that.
And I was like, really? Y'all threw him out of office, and you re-elected him again.
Yeah, that's because under Schwarzenegger, they had the election for the ballot measure for jungle primary. Yeah. And even though that really only counts for like senator, federal elections, still it suppressed it really did disenfranchise Republican voters in the state and continues to, because it's like, what's the point when our elections are based around a Northern California Democrat or a Southern California Democrat?
Oh, it's what was that argument you were having over the weekend, right? It's like, okay, why don't we just split California?
Yeah. No, that'd be 5 blue states. No, It wouldn't. It would be one deep blue state, one deep red state, and 3 purple states, as God intended.
Depending on how it was split.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. I'm perfectly okay with purple states because that is when actually you have the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of deep red states any more than I am of deep blue states because then you just get entrenchment.
Well,
Though I do prefer deep red states over deep blues if I have to choose. Got into my head.
Yeah. Better chance of being left alone.
As somebody,
Right, exactly.
As somebody who lives in a deep red state, I am offended by your comments, sir.
Yeah, but for a deep red state, you gave it all back to the tribes for a minute.
Well, that wasn't really our choice, though.
And just to shock everybody that Gavin Newsom was full of shit, in the state of Florida, all the polling I'm looking at between Trump or DeSantis against Biden, they're just about even across the board. And every single poll here, they're defeating Biden. So
yeah,
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I think he's talking about the primary numbers. I think this, at least from everything I've seen poll-wise, DeSantis is still way down against Trump. But if it's DeSantis versus
Well, yeah, in the
Biden,
primary he is.
Yeah,
but it's like 30 to 35%, depending on the poll.
I actually think DeSantis is going to do better on these first couple primary elections
than anybody's giving him
and Trump
credit
is
for.
not. Trump is not.
Well, and that's the whole thing of everybody is like acting like this election is over already. I'm like, they haven't even held the first primary yet, dude. They haven't held the first caucus yet, much less the first primary. And y'all are already acting like this is a foregone conclusion.
Well, I remember when they all counted out Trump back in 2016.
Oh, I know. I mean, shit. Grouchy and I were sitting across the table from the front runner at the time, and nobody knew who he was 2 weeks later.
Want to be
by the way, I
homeowner,
rarely do this.
please
I got to
don't
give
turn
a
me into
product
that.
endorsement.
Anyway,
on Amazon.
let's look at
Oh, nuts roasted pumpkin seeds. They're fucking fantastic.
Nice. I should find those and send you my affiliate link and let you pimp it.
On the national level, the rate was 380.7 offenses per 100,000 people. In California, meanwhile, the rate was much higher, 499.5 offenses per 100,000. In Florida, lower, 258.9 offenses per 100,000. Governor Newsom, let me start with you. Your numbers are way higher than the national average.
Those numbers
How do
are
you
a lie,
explain that
Sean.
when safety and security, I would argue, is a prerequisite for the pursuit of happiness?
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. We're near 50-year lows, down 55% violent crimes in the state of California from the 1990s. And I want to compare and
because
contrast
you
that
stopped
with the
reporting
issue in
them.
Florida that you didn't mention, and that's the murder rate. And let's broaden it more broadly. The issue is 7 of the top
Those numbers were
10,
part of the murder rate.
7 of the top 10 murder rates in the United States of America are red states. He has a 66% higher gun
In
death
what?
rate than the state of California. He has a higher murder rate. Go to places like Jacksonville. Go to places like Orlando. Go to places like Tampa. The murder rate's off the charts compared to cities like San Francisco. And you know what? Even more egregiously, Sean, and I think this is important, the American people deserve an answer from you, Ron. You had one of the
At
worst
this point, he's got
mass
his head
shootings
so
in
far up
American
his own
history,
ass, I wish
Parkland.
he'd just keep jumping till he
17 kids were
disappeared.
gunned down, lives lost, 17
Well,
others, lives torn
Newsom's not
asunder.
even answering questions.
You had
He's
a
just
young girl
trying
by
to
the name of Jamie
play
Gutenberg,
gotcha.
whose father pleaded with you to do something about it. And you know what you did? You did the exact opposite. You made it easier for felons to get guns without background checks, without any training.
What?
These people
He
pleaded
lies.
with the parents and the families to
Oh,
get
I'm
tough
sorry.
on gun safety.
know.
And
Newsom's
again, you made
lying.
it easier
His lips
for
are
felons.
moving, so it's kind of
He
a
said of
foregone
you, Ron, and
conclusion.
I agree with him. After you signed that concealed
I guess
carry
I'll
bill,
drink.
which increases the likelihood, Fred Gutenberg said, of more Jamies losing their lives and more Parklands. He called you weak, pathetic, and small. So with respect, I appreciate you're talking to police officers in the state of California. You may want to spend a little bit more time, not on the Ohio Trail and other places across this country. You may spend a little more time back in your home state and address the murder.
Says the
gun
guy.
You mean like
shadow
with the Flowering
campaign?
House?
So this is the slick politician. You put up the rates. He has 500 per 100,000. Florida is 250. So that's almost twice as much. And he's trying to spin that to say California's doing good. People are leaving California in droves, largely because public safety has collapsed. They have, I mean, you
Plus,
go
they
when
need
Californians
droves
come
since
to
there's
Florida,
no
one of the
U-Haul
things they'll say,
trucks.
it's almost like
Thank
an
you.
out-of-body
Drive safe.
experience. They can go to the store, get toothpaste off the shelf, pay for it, and leave, because in a lot of these places in California, everything's under lock and key because they basically legalized retail theft. They have chosen in California to put the interests of the criminals over public safety. They treat they're easier on sex offenders. They're easier on all these crimes that are leading to a collapse in the quality of life. And if you just walk around San Francisco, you will see, and I think it's interesting, Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco. So he took the San Francisco model, turned that into a template for California's collapse. Now the left wants to take the California model and use that as a template for America's collapse. We cannot let that happen.
Wait, I got to I got a follow-up question. You brought up
Jacksonville, Florida, compared to San Francisco is 126% higher.
Okay, I'm going to say what I always say every fucking debate. Shock
It's
collars, so
75%
they
higher.
shut up.
What?
Let me also say,
what are you talking about?
you're just jabbering. I know you like to jabber.
By the way, those
I know
are all
you like
easily
to, I know you like to lie.
Anytime you're uncomfortable,
He put the statistics up there.
Those are all
your
facts.
crime is
What are you
higher.
doing about
we know
the
your
gun
crime is
murder rate
higher.
in your state?
Gentlemen,
What are you
I'm
doing
going to move
about
on.
gun murder rate in your state?
We'll let the audience let the audience look at the numbers, the FBI numbers, and decide. According to the Gun Control Advocacy Group, every town for gun safety. Okay, California has the most, as you support, I know, Governor, restrictive gun laws in the United States. Florida has the 19th most restrictive. Yet, if you look at the year 2019, when each of you took office, California has had 21 mass shootings. Florida has had 9. Now, that is according to a USA Today, AP, Northeastern University database data. Keep in mind, a mass killing is defined as the intentional killing of 4 or more victims, excluding the deaths of unborn children and the offenders by any means within a 24 period of time. I believe, Governor DeSantis, you get this first.
What California wants to do is they want to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. Then they go easy on the criminals who are perpetrating the crime. They don't stand up for the men and women of law enforcement. That's why a lot of people have left the state, because they don't get the support from the communities that they need. And, Gavin told another lie. He said we made it easier for felons to do. Felons are not allowed to possess firearms. That's federal law. That's been long-standing.
No background checks.
That is an absolute lie that he's saying like that. That has nothing to do with buying or purchasing a weapon. So that's just a lie, another lie that's coming up. But here's the thing. People are leaving California in droves because he has failed to stand up for public safety. They are on an ideological joyride to let people out of prison early, to go easy on them. Heck, your buddy, Gavin's buddy in Los Angeles, Gascon, he doesn't even prosecute. When I was in Southern California for the Reagan debate, a lot of the women tell me they have to take off all their jewelry just to be able to go shopping, because otherwise they're going to get mugged. That is the reality that people are facing in California. Gavin can try to put lipstick on that pig, but the fact of the matter is he has failed the people of California.
I love this guy talking about backing the blue when you dangled pardons for January 6 insurrectionists, 85 of them that were literally
no insurrection,
charged with attacking law enforcement. You talk a big game about backing the blue. With all due respect to the crime rate, again, he's not answering the fact that he has a higher murder rate than the state of California, a 66% higher gun death rate than the state of California.
False.
And I can easily answer this point. Gun safety saves lives. I don't think it, I know it. And the data bears that out in the state of California.
No, it doesn't.
California proudly does lead in terms of common sense gun safety. Common sense gun safety saves lives. You had the chance to do something meaningful. You had a chance to do something on behalf of those Parkland families. You did the exact opposite. You moved in the exact opposite
quoting
direction.
stats from a
With all due
liberal
respect,
gun group
look at
showing
your
his state
own
is higher.
backyard,
Now he's
Ron.
denying
You're
it.
not mining your backyard on this issue.
I will do that because we have we had two radical left Soros district attorneys, like your buddy Gascon in L.A., one in Tampa, one in Orlando. They were endangering the public, and I removed them from their posts. Gavin Newsom has not lifted a finger to rein in Gascon in L.A. That city has collapsed. That county's collapsed because he is not enforcing the law. So that's just and here's the thing.
American
this is what's happening. That California model,
we're a little
that's
over
been
time.
done in Philadelphia, Baltimore.
15 seconds. We got to go break.
Come on. I mean, you're running for president of the United States. You're talking down the great state of California. You're talking down one of the great American cities, Los Angeles.
It's not a great
That's
state.
insulting.
And
And
it's
you're
not a
doing
great
it
American
because
city.
you're trying to obfuscate the facts
I live
that
here. I can
you
say
have
that.
a higher murder rate in the state of Florida and the state of California.
We got to take a break.
So I take that to mean that Gavin Newsom will not insult Florida.
Governor DeSantis, Governor Gavin Newsom on the other
Did he
side as
just
we continue the great state
insult
debate,
Jacksonville?
blue versus red. There's hardly any differences. A lot of ground to cover. Thank you for being with us. We are in beautiful Alpharetta, Georgia. Thank you for joining us on Hannity.
It's a beautiful shithole, Rex, but it is a shithole.
Oh, yeah, I think it's funny how he keeps downing DeSantis for, talking shit about California when his whole shtick is talking shit about Florida.
Yeah. Aggie, you're being awful quiet.
I'm appalled with two P's. I can't.
I like when he said that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I like when he said that Florida isn't a border state. The entire Caribbean floats to Florida.
He has no concept of the contraband that Floridians have to deal with. The Coast Guard and everything. I mean,
We've got the longest coastline of any state, maybe with the exception of Alaska.
And I mean, Cuba, anybody? My uncle was one of the boat people that landed in Florida. Escaping after Che murdered half of his family. Okay? I mean, come on. It's like it's been known for years.
I'm just enjoying Gavin Newsom saying, I won't tolerate you insulting California, you guy from the murderous state of Florida.
Yeah. I was like, okay, you can, so he cannot, DeSantis cannot diss California, but you could just talk down about Florida all the time because they're just a bunch of rubes there, which goes to show you how elitist this guy is.
You all love guns and killing each other. Don't
doesn't?
you insult us.
Oh, I said the quiet part out loud. I mean, okay, so it's like, so Florida isn't a border state. Wasn't that the whole origin story of Tony Montoya? Did nobody see Scarface but me?
Yes, it's the origin.
It was a documentary, guys. Come on.
I'm laughing. Okay.
I was laughing.
Culture.
Give me a
Look
second.
into it.
Give me a second to stop laughing.
I saw it.
I did.
In fact, the hotel where they chainsaw the guy is now a CVS.
Excellent.
That's sad.
Well, no, I mean, that's just, that's like, okay, so cause and effect. The dude had no bandages in the hotel. Now he can get bandages there.
And antiseptic.
It was the center point of a drug-based movie, and now it's a drug store.
Everything comes full circle.
Full circle. What was Scarface about?
120 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, we're getting the culture shift references in, even though we're not.
Exactly.
We're here all night, folks. Tip your waiters and waitresses.
Try the veal.
2 shows on Friday.
Got to be 21 for the second show. It gets a little blue. Seriously, these pumpkin seeds are fucking awesome. Have you tried these pumpkin seeds? They're fantastic.
Are the pretzels making you thirsty?
George, get thirsty. Whatever happened to while we're talking about George Costanza, whatever happened to Dan Cortez? Well, that 15 minutes sure burned out quick, didn't it?
Yeah, I think he cut his hair, and just like Samson, his career disappeared.
The MTV curse.
He and Pauly Shore exchanged Christmas cards.
I swear to God, they're going to make a Richard Simmons biopic, and Pauly Shore is going to star out him. He's going to win a fucking Oscar.
Speaking of Pauly Shore, he's coming to Bricktown this weekend.
No, it's a meme that's going to become real, is what it is. Because we live in the absurd world.
We live in CERN time.
Credo quia absurdum.
Speaking of Pauly Shore, he's actually going to be at Bricktown this weekend. I actually thought about going to see him.
Oh, nice.
As you know, you signed the Parental Rights in Education bill, and let me read from it. It says, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age appropriate or
oh my God, don't say
developmentally
gay.
appropriate for students in according with state standards. Critics have called the bill, quote, homophobic. This is the one they branded the Don't Say Gay bill. I ask you, Governor DeSantis, especially the lower grades, should schools, and maybe all grades, should schools be focusing on reading, writing, math, science, history, computers, and maybe leaving values, considering parents might have different values than teachers at school?
I heard it.
To
He
the
may not have
parents,
said it, but I heard
to religious institutions. Or is it the role of the school? What is the role?
The role of the school is to educate kids, not indoctrinate kids. It's not to impose an agenda. It's to do the basics. And what we've said in Florida is it's inappropriate to tell a kindergartner that their gender is a choice. It's inappropriate to tell a second grader that they may have been born in the wrong body. Now, California has that. They want to have that injected into the elementary school. My wife and I have a 7-5 and a 3-year-old. We don't think that that's appropriate. I know most parents do not think it's appropriate. It's also important to respect parental rights to know what curriculum is being used in the classroom, and everything should be age appropriate. I actually have something that I brought that some parents have objected to. So this is a book that's in some of the schools in California. Florida, this is not consistent with our standards, called Gender Queer. Some of it's blacked out. You would not probably be able to put this on air. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's aimed at children, and it's wrong.
No, it's okay,
so
Ron.
this
This
should
is
not
cable.
be in schools when people like on the left say that somehow
it's
you're banning
Fox,
books by
the
removing
leg
this
channel.
from a young kid's classroom. No, this is not age appropriate. And so we're going to stand for the rights of parents. I think we need to do that nationwide. I don't think you can have a situation where some states just trample on the rights of parents. Parents have a fundamental right to direct the education and upbringing of their kids.
I mean, by the way, you've been on a banning bench. 1,406 books have been banned just last year under Ron DeSantis' leadership. I love that he keeps pulling this out. I've seen this.
Banned?
He's been doing this all over the campaign trail. What's wrong with Toni Morrison's books?
Citation needed.
What's wrong? It's not true. What's wrong with Amanda Gorman's
not
and the
banned.
poetry?
Those are false
1,406.
narratives.
1,406 books have been banned on your banning bench in the state of
Setting
Florida. As it relates to parental
age-appropriate
rights, come on.
restrictions is not
California
the same as banning.
Constitution, parental engagement.
They've
It's
been
called the
banned on your
LCFF
banning
process.
bench.
We actually require
Bingo.
parental
Banjo.
engagement on curriculum development. And we don't, complete lie, we don't require K through third grade sexual education. That doesn't happen until middle school. What you're doing is using
We don't
education
require it,
as a
but we
sword for
allow
your
it.
cultural privilege.
Yeah,
You know what? With all
there
due
you go.
respect.
Well,
You
they
know, I
also
remember in the
allow the state to
1970s,
take
in the
children away
1970s,
from
we had a bill
parents
called
because the parents
Briggs Initiative.
won't
And there
go,
was a guy by
won't
the name
accept
of Ronald
the
Reagan,
delusion
so
of a
offended by the
6-year-old
Briggs
going,
Initiative, which was
I'm
the
a
original
girl
Don't
today.
Say Gay bill. In that case, it was not allowing teachers that happened to be gay to teach. And Reagan had the courage to stand up, and he said, you can't catch gay like you can measles. I don't like the way you demean people. I don't like the way you demean the LGBTQ community.
Shut
I don't like the way you demean and humiliate people you disagree with, Ron. I really find this fundamentally offensive. And this is a core value that distinguishes the values of my state and, frankly, the
Oh, no,
vast
guys.
majority of
Gavin Newsom's
Americans
offended.
against the
no.
weaponization of education
How is
and
it
the
demeaning
purging
anybody?
that he's
I have
advancing.
a follow-up question for you, though. And by the way, first, Governor, yes or no, are the book banning issues, is that not a state issue? Is that a state issue or a local issue?
Local, and he's
okay. That's all I want to know.
Home book wasn't
but
there.
That was the question I have.
1,400
Here's the
books
question I have for you, Governor Newsom. Some of the books you're talking about, one is called, the governor just brought it up, it's called Gender Queer, a memoir, explicit pornographic book showing sex acts. Another, Flamer, graphic book about young boys performing sex acts at summer camp. This book is Gay, a book containing instructions on the ins and outs of gay sexuality. Let me finish. Let's talk about it. A book that contains graphic descriptions about how to masturbate for males and females. My question to you, Governor Newsom, those books,
I've corrupted
do you believe that's a
I don't need
for
to
school
hear Sean
districts
Hannity
to
talking
teach
about
kids?
this.
Yes or no?
Come on, those aren't not. It's not part of the curriculum. They're not teaching.
Those
kids
are those are books that were in school.
Hold on. The bottom line is you are on a book banning binge. Your state.
Yeah.
1,406 books, 3,362 in this country.
You didn't answer.
Florida's
what about
leading,
those books?
Florida. That's not. We don't provide for K through third grade education that kind of curriculum. It's just made up. These guys make it up. It's part of this
so you're
cultural
banning the
purge.
books
It's just
what grade would it be acceptable?
What I find offensive, Sean and Ron, what I find offensive is a very significant number of these books happen to be LGBTQ books. A significant number of these books happen to be about African Americans.
Do you think it's
honestly
Governor?
I told you we don't teach that. We don't teach that. We have sex education in middle schools and high schools where it's appropriate. This is a ginned up, made up issue to divide this country. You talk about dividing this country. This is part of the culture war, the weaponization of grievance. This is part using education. We're focusing on math, science. We're focusing
so if
on
Gavin doesn't teach
our
it, then
schools.
he's
Criminalizing teachers and criminalizing librarians that check out the wrong
the
book.
schools to impose a liberal agenda, social justice. They have this ethnic studies where they're dividing people. That's what they're doing. But let me just say something about parents' rights, because he says California respects parents' rights. This is rich. He's been telling a lot of whoppers tonight. This may be the biggest. In California, if you're a parent in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina, your minor child can go to California without your knowledge or without your consent and get hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and a sex change operation, all without you knowing or consenting. How in the heck is that honoring parents' rights when you're bringing people from out of state to go around their parents' backs and getting life-altering surgeries? That is radical. That is extreme.
These kids
that is an assault on parents' rights.
You know what, Ron?
It's not for you to decide. It's for the parents to decide.
You know what?
And the parents do not want their kids going to these other things.
Let me go to a follow-up. Let me
but the one in Pineville, Louisiana is still there for 500.
Of taking
yeah, I hear it. Even through here, I hear it.
Nobody can hear you.
That is wrong. That is wrong. That should not stand in this country.
Let us turn, gentlemen, if I may, to the issue of education. Here is public school spending per K through 12 students, according to the Education Data Initiative from the U.S. Census Bureau and National Center for Education. Florida spends nearly $12,000 per student, while California spends over $16,000. Florida is ranked number one by U.S. News & World Report. In terms of state education rankings, California ranks 20th. Governor Newsom, what is your explanation? You spend more money and they have better results in Florida. Why?
I told you what I'm doing in public education.
We're the number one state.
Brand new grade pre-K for all. We're doing after school and summer school for all. We're reimagining the school day, not just the school year. We just provided 3.4 million of our students upwards of $2 billion for child savings accounts and the opportunity to start businesses when they graduate. We have one of the best records under COVID, during COVID. And again, you didn't answer to the fact you had more learning loss. Ron DeSantis had more learning loss during COVID. Fourth grade reading, fourth grade math, eighth grade reading, eighth grade math. We outperformed you in it's a fact during COVID in every one of those categories. I can't wait.
If you've outperformed them, how is his state number one and you're number 20?
Facts on health, wealth, and education.
Nobody told me there was going to be math.
COVID. You talk about things to apologize. You should apologize for your COVID record.
So basically,
you
there's a chart
you
up with
aligned with vaccines.
and
You
data.
aligned with CDC
It's not
guidelines
true.
until you didn't, and
All right.
tens of thousands of people died.
Let's return our focus to education.
Well, when we opened the schools, we bucked all of those people June of 2020. He kept the schools closed for a long time, and that had devastating impacts. And why? What Gavin Newsom does in California is kowtow to the teachers union. Whatever they tell him to do, he does. He will never balk the teachers union. That's why the kids were locked out of school for so long. Joe Biden is in the pocket of the teachers union, and so is Kamala Harris. That's why they fought school when he came in there. When they had that in there. Biden came into office and he brought in the teacher union to be able to do all these different things to try to keep the schools closed. So the Democratic Party, the
Newsom got hot that DeSantis apparently was insulting the Commonwealth or something.
I beat the teachers union in Florida to get the schools open, first in the country during COVID. Also to do universal school choice. Every parent in Florida has a right to send their kid to the school of their choice. We're winning these fights. California is bending the knee to the union because they control the politicians.
All right, let's move on. A topic that will seemingly play a very large role in the future elections, and it's the issue of abortion.
Yes.
I have a question for both of you. I'll ask you to please respect the individual's right to answer uninterrupted. And that is Governor DeSantis. I think it's actually your turn, Governor Newsom, if you don't mind.
All good.
Most medical professionals believe a baby is viable outside of a mother's womb by between 24 and 26 weeks. That is the general scientific consensus. It changes. There are some variations on it. Abortion is legal in your state, quote, up to viability, is my understanding, unless the mother's health is in danger. I'd like to get you on the record. You've been unwilling to answer this question. Should there be any restrictions on the issue of abortion that you support at all? Because funding in California, you have allocated in your budget $265 million for abortion last year alone. My question, very specific. Do you support any restrictions at all on abortion, especially in months 7, 8, and 9, past viability?
I'm going to answer that question, but let's talk about the issue of abortion. Let's talk about the issue.
You're going to answer it?
So I'm not going to answer that question because we're talking about what I want to talk about.
I think this is important, and it bears repeating. Ron DeSantis
Let me answer that by
the
talking
most
about credit
extreme
card insurance
anti-abortion
rates.
bills in America. He signed a bill banning any exceptions for rape and incest. And then he said it didn't go far enough and decided to sign a 6-week ban before women even know they're pregnant, Ron, before women can even access a doctor's appointment. So extreme is your ban that criminalizes women and criminalizes doctors that even Donald Trump said it was too extreme. On the issue of the extreme exception that you highlight as it relates to the issue of later-term abortion, it's almost always because of a fetal anomaly, the life of the mother. And in those rare cases, I trust in answering your question. I trust the mother and her doctor to make that decision.
So in other words, I want to be clear on this. If a woman and her doctor, for any reason...
Not for any reason.
No.
It's
I'm asking...
extremely rare.
Should there be...
I know where you guys are going, Sean. You're even uncomfortable with this whole issue. And I understand this is where you guys have to go to cover for the extreme anti-abortion agenda of Ron DeSantis.
Should there be... Would you support a ban on abortion in 7th, 8th, or 9th month if the mother's life is not in jeopardy?
Extreme exception. People aren't going on and having abortions.
Should it be illegal then?
Unless something
if
devastating is happening.
Should it be illegal?
It should be up to the mother and her doctor and her conscience. And it
the answer is
always,
no restriction.
I've already answered it, and I'll just reinforce it. To
he has not answered Jack or shit.
The most extreme abortion ban in the country. I have a simple question, though. This is important.
No. I'm asking the question.
Ron DeSantis, will you or will you not sign
Can somebody ask him, does he want to talk about his car warranty?
Let's
Would
talk
you sign a national ban?
Let's talk about your
state.
state.
Answer that. He's getting saved
you had 15 weeks.
Fundamental question.
You had a 15-week rule in California. You reduced it to 6. My question is this. What was your thinking behind it? Was it for religious reasons? Was it for scientific reasons? What was the reason for you from going from 15 weeks to 6 weeks?
Well, I believe in a culture of life. I think we're better off when everybody counts, when everybody has an opportunity to do well, and that bill attaches when there's a detectable heartbeat for the child. And some states have done that. Some states have done others. Some states have done later. And obviously they have a right to do that. But I think about one of our Floridians, a lady named Penny Hopper. She actually survived a late-term abortion back in the day, and they left her on the table there to basically wither away. Her grandmother came, saved her, brought her to a hospital, saved her, and she ended up living a good life. So she counts and she matters. And I think that what the position that we have from the modern left, including in California, is that they will take your tax dollars and they will fund abortion all the way to the moment of birth. He's wrong when he says the later terms are all because of this. 88% past 15 weeks are, in fact, elective from the Florida data. He doesn't keep data there. But that is really extreme, to take your tax dollars and to do this all the way up to the moment of birth. He didn't answer your question
not rare
about any
anymore.
type of protections at all for a baby that has a beating heart, that can feel pain, that is viable.
Right. Hold on. Respectfully, this is an important conversation. Will you or will you not support a national
Sean, why didn't you answer
or will
his
you
question?
not support
Why didn't
a
you
national
support?
ban if it lands on your desk? You couldn't answer that in any other context.
Okay,
answer it
gentlemen,
tonight. It's a
we're
simple
moving
yes or
on
no.
to
By
the
way,
next
hey,
issue.
no, Sean, not a
You
next
never
issue.
gave a week.
The American people should know this. I'll answer it for Ron DeSantis. He can't answer it. He will sign that extreme 6-week
let me move
national
on.
ban. The American people should know that.
I'm calling this the lightning round. It'd be great if you guys cooperated. I'm not a potted plant here. And I want to ask you, we all know that federal policy does have a huge impact on states. We know that.
Smarter.
I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions, and I just want one-word answers, okay, from 3 of you, because we're coming up on a break. And the issue is right now Joe Biden is president.
Yep.
So I would like both of you to give a grade to Joe Biden overall as president. Governor Newsom, I'll give A.
An A. Absolutely.
Governor
I think it's been a
DeSantis.
master
Failed.
And a failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's your.
Now, number 2, are his policies helping or hurting your individual states? Is it helping the state of Florida?
The inflation is hurting our state big time.
Great.
Fail. He failed. He's failed on the economy.
The guy just took
Is it
$28
helping the
million
state of
from the
California?
Science and Tech Act. Thank you, Joe Biden. It's absolutely accelerating our dominance in manufacturing, accelerating our revitalization.
What do we manufacture?
Really?
You mean the people that left?
Absolutely.
Those
Yes.
manufacturers?
Okay. I will ask you, Governor DeSantis. I have played over and over again, and Governor Newsom, you have seen over and over again. Joe Biden is experienced what I believe to be significant cognitive decline. And in other words, it's the toughest job in the world. Is Joe Biden experiencing this cognitive decline? Is it a danger to the country? Do you find when he speaks, what is your reaction to it?
Yes, he's in decline. Yes, it's a danger to the country. He has no business running for president. And, Gavin Newsom agrees with that. He won't say that. But that's why he's running his shadow campaign. He should not be running. He is not up to the job. And it is dangerous for this country.
Well, I will take Joe Biden at 100 versus Ron DeSantis any day of the week at any age. In fact, all of the folks
you think
on the
he's up to the
campaign
job?
trail.
You think he's 100%?
I've been spending
100%?
plenty of time with Joe
100%?
Biden. in
Okay.
private and
Do you think he even knows who you are, Gavin?
Results matter. Inflation now is down to 3.2%. Wages are up to 4.4%. The economy is booming, 5.2% GDP growth in the last quarter. Those are facts you don't hear on Fox News. 14 million jobs, 10 times
Let me
more than the
move
last
on. That
3
was the lightning
Republican
round.
presidents.
Now,
Goodbye.
on March
Biden
31st, 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson famously said, "I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president." Now, despite being an incumbent president who is eligible to run for re-election, Governor Newsom, I've interviewed you twice on this issue. You say you are not running for president in 2024. In fact, you recently said, quote, you think that Vice President Harris is naturally the one lined up to run for president if Joe Biden were to bow out. Governor Newsom, tonight I ask you, will you make an LBJ-like statement? And Governor DeSantis, you say he's running a shadow campaign. In your response, I would like you to answer that. Will you say unequivocally, under no circumstances are you running?
Correct. I've said, I don't know how many times I can say it. He's just making this stuff up about a shadow campaign. Bottom line,
if at the DNC convention they come and ask you, will you
Dude,
run? What will you say?
Joe Biden
If you were not in a shadow campaign, you wouldn't be
in a
debating.
matter of weeks, Sean,
Right.
he'll be endorsing Donald Trump as a nominee for the Republican Party.
If they come to you at the DNC and Joe is incapable of running and they ask you, are you a hard no?
It's not even optional. He's doing fantastically. I appreciate and respect the work the president's doing and the vice president's, the Biden-Harris campaign and team. So absolutely unequivocally, I look forward
Harris would be the
to
next
continuing to support their efforts. President Biden will be reelected. Donald Trump will be rejected.
I think what he's saying should color every single thing. I mean, I've called him on a lot of the lies, but he says Joe Biden is 100% up to the job. You know that that's not true. Anybody that can look, he wants you to believe him over your own lying eyes. When he says the economy is so great, how great is it when you're going to the grocery store now? How great is it when you're trying to afford a home? How are those interest rates doing? What about affording a new car? So we have to get real here. We have to understand that Biden is not a job. But here's I think the problem. What Biden would do, the people around him, they would look to California for the model to go forward in the next 4 years. That would accelerate the decline of this country. Yeah. Freedom is what works. The failures need to be left in the dustbin of history.
Yeah, tell freedom to women that you're trying to criminalize in your state. And
all right, we're retreating to old ground. For years,
this notion of freedom,
gentlemen,
Florida is not a state of freedom.
One of the things I wanted to accomplish here is the policies that you both implement have a great impact on the citizens of your individual states.
But
for years,
California,
a gallon of gasoline, Governor Newsom in California
call
has been
somebody the wrong
notably
pronoun.
higher
Where's that
in
freedom?
your state than in the state of Florida.
That's right.
Here are the numbers, by the way, recent numbers. The average cost for a gallon of gas nationwide, just over $3.24. In Florida, $3.17. In California, it is a whopping $4.85. So, Governor Newsom, I ask you, you've also sued big oil companies alleging executives have deceived the public about the health of our planet, knowing that it's a polluter. If your lawsuit is successful, that would likely mean higher gas prices, even higher gas prices for everybody. Here's my question, though. Could you name right now one source of energy that you can bring online in the next 3 to 6 months that would be as inexpensive for the people in this country as fossil fuels?
Well, let me touch.
Can you think of that energy?
Let me touch on the. I'm going to get to your question, and then let me touch.
Let me answer that question by talking about Ron DeSantis' car.
Okay. You're absolutely right. Since the 1980s, Republican administrations, Democratic administrations have experienced under their stewardship, experienced higher gas prices in the state of California. We've been ripped off by big oil. We continue to be ripped off by big oil. Big oil now has met a new foe, and that's the state of California, the most aggressive anti-gouging law in America, more transparency being required than any time in America. And yes, we're suing the industry responsible for this climate crisis. By the way, the same climate crisis that Ron DeSantis celebrated as human-caused, who campaigned for a fracking ban, who campaigned to oppose offshore oil drilling, and then 2 days after he got elected, signed an executive order. By the way, Nikki Haley had you dead to right on this, Ron. Signed an executive order doubling down, saying you're adamantly opposed to fracking, adamantly opposed to offshore oil drilling. You were celebrated by the Sierra Club for that action until you weren't. Once again, it shows the hypocrisy.
You're not going to go
Ron DeSantis.
fracking in the
Now
Everglades
away
and
from
lawn
climate change
flamingo.
as things have gotten worse. Hurricanes, wildfires, droughts, and floods.
Don't let facts interfere with his narrative. He's on a roll.
Of weather-related disasters. And he has no response except talking points from big oil.
Governor,
that was a mouthful. Again, just more lies. But here's the thing: California's
So,
the only one.
just
that
to be
oil
clear,
companies are
Gavin
gouging.
Newsom
Why aren't they
wants
doing it to
fracking and
Georgia
wants
or
offshore
Florida, these
drilling?
other states that have lower gas prices? Because of their policies. That's why people are paying more there. What Gavin Newsom wants to do, what he's doing in California, what Biden wants to do nationally, is government-dictated green energy policies. They want to kneecap fossil fuels and reliable energy. We've already seen what's happened in California. They have rolling blackouts. He actually implemented a mandate to buy electric vehicles. So pretty soon in California, you're not going to be able to buy a normal car, only electric vehicles. And they celebrated that as like a great thing. A couple days later, There was a
Without
notice
a
from the
grid.
state government telling all EV owners, do not plug in your EV because they don't have enough grid capacity. So he is walking his people into a big-time disaster. What Biden wants to do is he wants to take the California model. He wants to impose that nationally. He wants to take away your ability to purchase the car that you want. He wants to kneecap reliable energy. And he wants to bring these rolling blackouts all across the United States of America. It doesn't work. It's going to cause huge problems. We have more energy here. We can be the dominant energy producer in the world,
Florida.
and that's what we're going to do. Florida is not a big energy state. We have the Marcellus Shale. We have the West Texas. We have all of that. So let's do that. No forcing electric vehicles.
We got to take a break.
Save the American automobile.
When we come back, we'll continue the great state, red state, blue state debate. More with Governor Ron DeSantis, more with Governor Gavin Newsom as we continue. Thank you for being with us from Alpharetta, Georgia.
So, my sign hasn't changed, but I may have missed it. Is it still 0 questions answered by Newsom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed one.
Well, he answers a lot of questions, just the ones that he asks himself, so he can answer what he wants to say, not, the question that's
Not the questions put to him. No.
Right.
There's not enough vodka for this shit.
There is. Just you don't own it all.
I just want Ron DeSantis to come out and point that Newsom wants fracking and wants offshore drilling.
Yeah, right.
I just love this.
Yeah. I think Ron should ask him real quick. So, how many nuclear plants do you have there, Gavin?
I think we closed our last one.
Nope. Diablo Canyon is still open.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's right. They extended Diablo Canyon because I know they shut down.
They shut down every other one.
Yeah, they shut down all the other. They shut down the Dolly Parton Memorial. They shut down.
San Onofre shut down because they made a big mistake there.
What was the one? Well, San Onofre was the nuclear tits, right?
Well, that's San Onofre. Yeah, that's the nuclear tits down there in L.A.
Yeah, San Diego.
They shut that one down. They had just done a steam generator change out, right? Retubed their steam generators, and they're all bad metal. And they said, we'll just shut her down instead of fixing the problem. Somebody sold a bag of goods down there, and they put the wrong metal or something, and they had major corrosion issues happen to where they were going to get tube leaks. So they just mothballed it instead.
I hate tube leaks.
Damn you, Vincent. We started a new thing.
Your Rangoon posting?
Yeah, Rangoon posting.
I've been seeing that roll through.
Because it's not just Dune posting or Tolkien posting or Sharp posting. We now have Rangoon posting. With a capital A.
Ooh, Rangoon. I wonder if the Chinese shop across the street is still open.
I would stab a hobo in the neck for some Rangoons right now.
I'd give up my can of beans that I stabbed a hobo for a Rangoon.
I'm not that kind of hobo. I'm a singing hobo.
And you're getting quite the Rangoon posting memes there, Orty. It's now hashtagging.
Actually, Vincent started that hashtag. If you're not paying attention to Twitter, good on you.
And the first Rangoon posting hashtag was in October 29th, 2021.
By Vincent?
Nope, St. Nicholas.
No idea who that is.
I don't either, but that awful Nick is his at, and it's actual Crab Rangoon. It's Rangoon.
I miss so much because I'm on Twitter. Wait.
Yeah, Rex, there's actually a nuclear power plant that just looked like two giant tits on the landscape with flashing lights on top, right on the San Diego, Orange County border on the 5.
So you're saying it was giant tits with spinners. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We all called it the Dolly Parton Memorial or the nuclear tits.
Yeah, I mean, every time I remember when I was
Welcome
stationed
back to-
out there, we'd
welcome
drive
back to Hannity,
driving
the
up
great
to
red
LA,
state
be
full
like,
state
oh,
debate.
look,
We continue
boobs.
with Governor Gavin Newsom, Governor Ron DeSantis. According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, these are the numbers for the homeless population in each of your states. It is a big problem around the country. In the state of California, it is 172,000. In Florida, it is 26,000. Now, the per capita numbers are pretty much the same. For California, it is 44 per 10,000 people, while Florida has
We do not have a
12 per
homeless
10,000 people. So,
We
Governor
have a lack of
DeSantis,
home problem.
I ask you, why the disparity? What are the policies you are implementing that is different from that of California?
California's adopting leftist policies. Gavin Newsom was governor or mayor of San Francisco. He put out a 10-year plan like 20 years ago. He was going to end homelessness. Then a few years later, he had another plan. And now he says he's going to do, and it's only gotten worse. In the last 10 years in California, the homeless has gone up 45%. It's gone down in Florida 45%. But it's caused a huge problem with quality of life in California. The people that flee always bring up this. They've really empowered lawlessness and drug use. And, you know, Gavin Newsom at one point tried to say that California was the freedom state. I just kind of laughed, like, you're locking people down, you're doing all this. But then I thought about it. You know, California does have freedoms that some people don't, that other states don't. You have the freedom to defecate in public in California. You have the freedom to pitch a tent on Sunset Boulevard. You have the freedom to create a homeless encampment under a freeway and even light it on fire. You have the freedom to have an open-air drug market and use drugs. You have the freedom, if you're an illegal alien, to get all these taxpayer benefits. So those are freedoms. They're not the freedoms our founding fathers envisioned, but they have contributed to the destruction of the quality of life in California, and the results speak for themselves. People are leaving the state because they have failed at addressing the homeless population.
Well, I love the rant on freedom. I mean, here's a guy who's criminalizing teachers, criminalizing doctors, criminalizing librarians, and criminalizing women that seek their reproductive care. You're making
Yes,
it harder
we've
to
been
vote.
arresting
You're
librarians
banning
left
books.
and right in
I mean,
Florida.
spare me this notion of freedom. That's the folks at Disney
Only the sexy
about
one.
freedom and free
You know,
enterprise. That's the
you
folks
started
at the
the,
Special Olympics that you threatened to fine with
we need to start the Underground Railroad
$27
again, don't we?
billion.
Sneaking them librarians out.
Goes
Wanted
after
those
Special
athletes to
Olympians.
be
When
out
it
of there.
comes to
Kids
the
with
issue,
Down syndrome.
Ron, of homelessness,
That is wrong. That's
when it
being a
comes to the
liberal
issue-
bully. That's being a bully.
Really?
They have Down syndrome, and you wanted to
Special
discriminate against
Olympians,
them.
$27
They
million
were
fine
discriminating
to
against
Special
because they were
Olympians. I
discriminating
find that
against the
disgraceful.
athletes.
On the
They wanted
issue
to
of
marginalize
homelessness-
the athletes, and you wanted the athletes marginalized. That was wrong what you did. These are kids with Down syndrome that just wanted to compete.
I grew up
and
working
you wanted
aid to
them,
adoption
you wanted them
special
out of the
kids. I've
Special
been
Olympics.
working with
You're
Special
a liberal
Olympians all
bully.
my life.
You
How
wanted them
dare
to be. You
How
wanted them to
dare
be
you, Ron.
ostracized.
You
I
threatened
talk,
to
you should
fine
talk to
Special
Isabella
Olympians
from
with
Florida. She got to
$27 million
participate.
fines.
She stood up for her
This is the way
rights.
you treat. Oh, yeah, by the way, no, hold on.
It's your
No,
turn.
let me say. I can handle that. I can handle it. I'm used to that. But you know what?
You wanted her
your
not to
attacks
compete.
on the trans community,
You
your
wanted
attack
her
on the
not
gay
to
and lesbian
compete.
community.
That's wrong.
You attack
She should have been able
vulnerable
to compete.
communities.
We
You
stood
attack
up for them,
women.
and we made sure they
Again,
could
Ron,
compete.
relax. I can handle it. I'm used to bullying. You're nothing but a bully.
You're a
I understand that. Intimidating and
Your
humiliating
mom's a
people.
bully.
That's your calling
Why
card.
did you want the
And by
Special
the way,
Olympians not
how
to be
well
able
is
to
it going
compete?
for you?
Why
How
did you
well
want
is
them
this
not to
camp-
be able to compete?
How well is this
Why do you
campaign
not
going?
want them to be
He's
able
not
to
going to let me
compete?
talk, so
I
I'll
don't
talk to the
understand why
American
you
people.
want to discriminate
Again, I'll
against an
remind
athlete
you,
with Down
the
syndrome.
blueprint.
He wanted them to be excluded
for
from the
Florida.
Special Olympics.
Let me
Has
Oh my
put
God, I
Ron
can't believe he's
DeSantis
bitching about not
41
being
points
able to
down
talk.
to Donald Trump as you try to get tough
We said
and
that.
out Trump.
Let's go back to
on
the
the
homelessness.
issue of homelessness. It's been an issue for decades in the making in the state of California, ever since we started shuttering down our mental health institutions back in the day, in Ronald Reagan's day. The difference is I'm the first governor in California history to take this head on. We are investing unprecedented resources, more accountability. We've gotten 68,000 people off the streets, close to 6,000 encampments we've gotten off the streets. We've also invested in unprecedented
that's
resources
when
in reforming our
Xi Jinping
behavioral health
comes to
system.
town.
Ron has literally the worst mental health system in America, forgive me, outside of Mississippi and Texas. And so with all due respect to being lectured on some of
So,
these topics,
not
Ron
the
DeSantis
worst.
is not the one I'm going to be listening
30-second response. You're, well, I'm looking at total time. Governor DeSantis, about 2 minutes.
This is a map of San Francisco. There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San Francisco. And you see how almost the whole thing is covered, because that is what has happened in one of the previous greatest cities this country's ever had. Human feces is now a fact of life, except when a communist dictator comes to town. Then they cleaned up the streets. They lined the streets with Chinese flags. They didn't put American flags there. They cleaned everything up. So they're willing to do it for a communist dictator, but they're not willing to do it for their own.
You got to understand, with the limited time we have left, I want to get to two very important issues we have not hit. After the Hamas terror attacks on October the 7th, we have seen what is nothing short of a disturbing outbreak of virulent hatred, anti-Semitism around the world, in the halls of our Congress, on American streets, on college campuses. Last month, outside in Sydney Opera House in Australia. We've seen it all over Europe, but in Australia, anti-Israeli protesters literally in this day and age chanting, "Gas the Jews, F the Jews." In American cities,
Did he say
protesters
anti-Australia?
calling for global Islamic war and demanding that Israel be wiped off the map, or in the words of Congresswoman Tlaib, from the river to the sea. Israel, meanwhile, is vowing to eradicate the terrorist group Hamas. But according to a report in the New York Times this week, U.S. officials have warned Israel that they need more to fight more surgically in Gaza. Governor Newsom, 30 seconds for you. We have to cut back on time.
All right.
How can Israel win the war against this terrorist group using surgical strikes and directions from Joe Biden?
Israel. I visited Israel. I met with families, hostages. I saw videos of children being killed in front of their parents, parents being killed in front of their children. I saw a beheading with a garden hoe. This is not complicated to me. This is a fight between good and evil. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they need to be eliminated, not just for the people of Israel and Jews around the world, but for the Palestinians themselves. But when it comes to the issue of anti-Semitism, you just mentioned a lot of things that have been occurring on Ron DeSantis' watch. He said nothing.
You're calling him
Masked man
anti-Semitic?
marching. I'm saying he countenanced anti-Semitism, and now he's finally talking a big game ever since October 7th.
For the
How
sake
about
of,
the masked man
for the
marching
sake
the
of
street,
fairness of
using
time,
the rope?
gentlemen,
You said nothing.
Governor DeSantis,
nothing on these issues.
They
Look how the
criticized
right-
DeSantis in his state for
Been a
being
second
too
Holocaust. They want to destroy Israel and wipe every single Jew off the map. Israel has every right to defend itself to the hilt. Biden should not be kneecapping them in any way, shape, or form. And by the way, Biden stranded a lot of American citizens over there. We're trying to get home. So I did an executive order in Florida, and we sent planes over to Israel right in the aftermath of October 7th, and we saved over 700 Americans, mostly Floridians, but not all, because Biden wouldn't do it. Finally, Biden started dumping people in Greece, and then they were sending a bill to the Americans just to get to Greece. If you come to this country illegally, they will pay to fly you all over the place. They'll put you up in hotel at no expense. But yet our own citizens fleeing a war zone, they're going to send you a bill. Joe Biden failed those people, and we stepped up and got it.
Let me ask you, I want to turn to the
anti-Semitism.
We don't have a lot of time
on your streets for years.
I want to turn to the issue, gentlemen, of China. I talk about this often. Intellectual property theft, unfair trade practices. That China has been hostile to our fighter jets in international airspace, hostile to our Navy in international waterways. We know all about the China spy balloon that happened 8 days right across the United States over military installations. The communist Chinese, they have nationals buying up thousands of acres of ranch land, farmland, and land near military installations. Their hostility towards Taiwan. They are, Governor DeSantis, our #1 geopolitical foe. I don't see that the Biden administration has been tough with them. What would you do differently?
Well, first, in Florida, we banned China from buying land in our state because you're right. You don't want them buying farmland or land near military bases. So we acted. We also got the Confucius Institutes out of our universities. China should not be involved in our universities at all. What you need to do is you need to have hard power in the Indo-Pacific to deter China's ambitions. You need to take the economy and we need to decouple from China. We're dependent on them for so many things. And then finally, we need to get serious about their influence in this country. They shouldn't be able to buy farmland anywhere. I can tell you this, I would not go to China and grovel in front of Xi like Gavin Newsom did. He says China is a partner on climate change. China's adding 2 new coal plants every year. China's laughing at us with what they're doing. So, yes, they're the number one threat we face, and we need to take it seriously, and Joe Biden is not doing that.
This is just a reminder. I think it's a question some people are probably asking. I know Nikki Haley's campaign is asking, when are you going to drop out and at least give Nikki Haley a shot to take down Donald Trump in this nomination? She laid you out. You're a walking hypocrite. You're a walking hypocrite on the issue of China. This is the guy that was looking for direct foreign trade from China, was doing trade shows, open up an office.
That's already been debunked. You talk about the liberal fact checkers. Even the liberal fact checkers
Donald
did
Trump
that.
himself today called you Red Ron for a reason, because of your complete hypocrisy.
All right, we're almost out of time.
Talking a big game. I confronted Xi on the issue of fentanyl, Ron. I confronted them
on human rights. You didn't.
I absolutely did, with the foreign minister and the vice president and other leaders in China. You talk a big game. Meanwhile,
we're
you haven't done
over
anything
time.
except tweet
Final question. Governor DeSantis, we owe you about 90 seconds, but you get the last word as per the coin flip.
What are you giving me? 5 seconds? What do I get?
No, I'll do okay. I'll be a little more generous than that. Look, it's been a very passionate debate tonight. Actually, it's been fun to be a part of. I think the American people will decide. Governing philosophies could not be more different. But let me ask you this, kind of a fun question. You both clearly love your states. You visited each other's state. Governor DeSantis, you can take as much time as you want. You have an extra 90 seconds. What is your favorite thing about the state of California? And
I give him 5 minutes for this.
Right.
That's a good question.
All right, we'll stay longer. 5 minutes, Governor.
When I got orders as a Navy lieutenant to go to Naval Amphibious Base Coronado, I had not spent any real time in California in my life. Florida native, and I'm very proud of the state. But I got down there, and that Strand is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And then all up and down, just a tremendous coastline. I do believe California has more natural advantages than any state in the country, which is why when you have so many people leaving on net, that's hard to do. Like, people don't want to leave there because it really is such a beautiful area. And I'm proud of the military installations that are there. I'm proud of what the Navy's been able to do in conjunction with the state. It was really important duty. It really helped forge me as an individual and as an American. And so I'll always have very, very fond memories of that nice Strand down there in Southern California.
I love that. I mean,
what do you
Reagan,
I don't know what you love
Reagan
about
used to
California.
call California Coast of Dreams. By the way,
what do you love about Florida?
What I love about your question is the comedy in the question, meaning, you know what? We all want to be loved. We need to be loved. We all want to be protected, respected, and connected. I think there is a unity frame here.
Okay.
You said it well. I mean, Ron, I have no doubt Ron DeSantis loves this country. I love this country. It's not about red versus blue. It's red, white, and blue. The United States of America. And I think we're all better off, and we're all better off. And so I appreciate this conversation.
You can't even emphasize
you, Ron, being a family man, you got 3 incredible kids. I appreciate your wife, your sacrifice, and I appreciate your military service. But I also appreciate we do have fundamental differences about the fate and future of this country. And that's why I'm going to be working so hard to get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris reelected in 2024.
You couldn't go right back to
He's never been able to.
2024.
What's your favorite part of Florida?
Would
Ron
you do
DeSantis
this again?
has beautiful kids. It's
Well,
the closest he
you know,
can.
And his wife. You left off the wife. He likes the
See,
wife.
I
have another 20 minutes, and I've got a lot of questions.
I'm happy to.
You want to stay?
Let's just do an extended hour. I'm happy to do it.
Okay. Then
this has been fun.
I think it's been fun, and I think it's been more entertaining. I'm sorry to the guests that I've invited. I got to take a break, though, in the meantime. We've got to pay some bills. It's not a cheap set we built for y'all. I hope you like it. Courtesy of your favorite channel, Fox News, and you do admit you watch often. We'll take a break. They've agreed to stay. Well, that's, I guess, the debate on the floor will continue on the other side. And we'll have live post-debate coverage. We are in Alpharetta, Georgia, the great red state, blue state debate as we continue.
He should bring he should bring the guest. He should bring the guest on that he's invited and let them ask questions for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you're gonna, especially because you have people hanging out in the green room.
That was the easiest question on the planet, and he still couldn't answer it. What do you like about Florida? Blah, 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 blah. Fuck it.
Well, apparently,
Orange juice. Just say orange juice.
Apparently, he likes Ron DeSantis' wife, so there's that.
Well, I mean, we all do.
Holy crap.
What, that is still going?
Yeah.
Going into extra innings.
Did we want this? Was this something people asked for?
Jeez.
And yeah, Reg Newsom is getting his ass handed to him.
I mean, he hasn't answered a single question, and we need to go into overtime because why?
Because Hannity's been filleting Newsom between sets.
I guess so.
This thing is not ending, is it?
It is not. It's going to be cold and gray and last the rest of your life.
In many ways, it hasn't even begun.
Well, I have to leave you guys because I have shit to do, to include walking the dog in the rain. So,
I see how it is.
Is that what they call that? Is that what you kids call that now?
But no, to answer your question, Aggie, this is the debate that never ends. It just goes on and on.
God. All that is, like Archer said, a question will be asked, Gavin will answer it, then it'll be what's his name's turn, and he gets interrupted by Gavin Newsom, and then Gavin complains about being interrupted.
And this is why DeSantis is losing in the primary. Because everybody only knows him as what's his name.
It's annoying as shit.
Well, anymore it's all about showmanship now.
Mm-hmm.
They're all trying to follow along with what Trump did in 2016 to win the primary.
Nobody's really caught on that was an anomaly. Even Trump hasn't caught on that was an anomaly. That's why it didn't work as well in 20. Just saying.
Bye.
Bye, Aggie.
Good night, everybody. I'll be around to dissect stuff in the chat, but no. I gotta go walk the dog, and it's raining and it's cold, and y'all better feel sorry for me.
We all know
I do.
We all know you're really
here. I'm going to go out and see, whenever this finishes, I may go out and see if I can see the Northern Lights.
We all know the reason you're leaving us is because it's almost Perry Mason time anyway.
Nope. It's not. Actually, my schedule for Perry Mason has changed, so...
Yes.
Nice.
It's Murder, She Wrote, you animal.
Well, I mean,
it's Murder, She Wrote, but she's on hiatus because what? Christmas movie.
If you have Peacock, you can watch Murder, She Wrote anytime you want.
I have it all on my laptop. I know.
Because I took a break. Because since I've been taking a break from politics, I actually watched the pilot of Murder, She Wrote today.
Oh, yes. The Murder of Sherlock Holmes, parts 1 and 2.
Yeah, I was watching something else and it rolled over and I was too lazy to find the remote. So I was like, yeah, whatever.
All right, and on that note, good night, y'all.
Bye.
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 Oh, really? My podcast partner doesn't even say goodbye. I see how it is.
I was waving.
Oh, nice.
Well, he was. His mouth was full. He was taking a drink, so he waved.
Yeah, he was waving. It was just his middle finger.
Yeah, probably.
Adios, mi barroquois.
Oh my God, Boricua.
He says
okay, you're going to keep correcting me every time I say it. I'm going to stop calling you that.
He says it wrong on purpose just to annoy you. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay,
good night.
I know. You know, these Latinx, they get so possessed.
Oh my God, you did not just say that.
Oh, yes, I did do that.
And on that note, the Latinx Minx has
not left the chat. Pendejo.
Oh, no, you didn't.
That's it. That's good night, folks. Good night, folks.
We need to cut programming before there's a murder live on the air.
Do we?
Do we really, though?
Murder, she texted.
Oh.
Murder, she talked. Or is it ticked?
Murdered by Chancla.
But I do have to get food. I ran home, came right on the air.
No, you're good. They're in the news break right now anyway, so I don't know how much longer we're going to keep doing this as it is.
Yeah, I think I'm going to cut out and get some food myself.
Well, it was an interesting debate. It was exactly what we all expected.
Wait, which one did you listen to?
I said it was interesting. I didn't say it was good.
Again, which one were you listening to?
Right. Well, I mean, come on. We all know. All right. You know what? I'll wait to find out if they... Do they go longer or not?
I don't know.
I gotta know.
Because he was coming back and saying by consenting agreement, everybody's decided to stay longer, and now they've gone down to now they're doing the after stuff. I'm confused. It's got Ari Fleischer talking right now.
Oh.
They bring the volume up so I can see it.
Americans. It's not about America. And that's the language that Democrats respond to. So you really have two different approaches for what America needs. I will say this. Gavin Newsom is much more articulate, fast.
Yeah, I think Fox News said Hannity could fuck off. Because
okay,
they seem to be doing they seem to be doing the post debate, not the extended debate. So
okay, well then,
I think on that note, we may all run away before this changes because I'm tired anyway.
Yeah, he just said Newsom was articulate. I think I can check out now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for those of you that hung out in the chat for the last almost 3 hours, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to go ahead and cut this thing off because, I don't know how much more of this I can do. And it looks like Hannity got told no because Hannity's now talking and there's like 3 other people on there with him. So I think the control room told him to kick rocks. So on that note, we're going to call it a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday night. I believe Aggie and I are back tomorrow night, and there will be a makeup juxtaposition Saturday night. And on that note, we're all going away to go find food, or in my case, dessert, because I want some ice cream. Bye, everybody.
Or alcohol. See ya.
I'm going for crab rangoon.
Crab rangoon and eggnog.
That does not seem like a very good combination for your stomach. I'm just saying. Bye, everybody.